too. Or the stream, second stream on 4th of February 2024. So I was waiting for the stream elements to kick in. There we go.
Or spin checks.
notification via the Streamlabs desktop thing. 706 at 7:07 a.m. and Adam's about to play in 54, 53, 52, like 50 seconds. Sorry about that. Slight, some burps, my fault. Oh, I was just looking at somewhere. Oh, I need to upload videos to YouTube, and a lot of these were cut up. This was Tuesday the 14th. I did it on the 23rd. 1, 2. Oh, it's 2. But I need to go to YouTube and upload 3 videos as quickly as I can. Jimmy Lane at 43 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Jimmy Lane should be on the Warriors. Nice. Oh, I already know that I make the best chicken in the world, chicken and rice in the world, so you miss me with that stuff. Bro, what?
Toyota's President's Day sales event is on. Get to your Toyota dealer now for low 3.99% APR on Tacoma or $750 cash back on Tundra. Hurry in now to get the best deals of the year. Toyota, let's go places.
And giving each other an embrace. What were you guys talking about?
I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about some things probably a lot of the world is probably knowing right now. But let's keep that between us. I mean, that's my big bro. Always listening to him when he's giving me advice.
Between you two guys, you guys were really going back and forth in that fourth quarter at each other, even in overtime as well. Just how much fun are these moments for you out here? How much do you relish those moments on the court?
They're a lot more fun when you win. I mean, you always want to battle, you always want to compete against the best, and you always want to show your best.
And giving each other an embrace. What were you guys talking about?
I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about some things probably a lot of the world is probably knowing right now. But let's keep that between us. I mean, that's my big bro. Always listening to him when he's giving me advice.
Between you two guys, you guys were really going back and forth in that fourth quarter at each other, even in overtime as well. Just how much fun are these moments for you out here? How much do you relish those moments on the court?
They're a lot more fun when you win. I mean, you always want to battle, you always want to compete against the best, and you always want to show your best up against the best. And so it's always fun, but you want to win at the end of the day. That's all that matters. And for me, I'm just glad our team got the win today.
This game was tight from start.
My bad.
Chicago has more than 10. They're 7-0 in January.
You hit so many iconic
Sorry about that. Getting distracted.
shots in a Portland Trailblazers jersey. I'm thinking about 2014 against the Rockets or 2019 against OKC with the wave. Do you have a favorite shot that you hit?
The OKC is probably my favorite one in 2019. But I think about like my second year in the league, I hit one in Cleveland, and in that same game, we got to the end of the game, and it was an overtime game, and Terry's in the huddle drawing up a play, and I'm like, give me the ball, and I actually missed the shot. Like I actually missed the game winner. We went to overtime, and Nick Batum ended up hitting the game winner, and the next time we played there, I ended up doing the same thing. I want the ball, and I hit. That was probably one of my first game winners, and those are the ones that's like my favorite because I was young. Like I didn't have no business asking for the ball, wasn't shooting great, and still ended up coming up big. But I would say if I had to pick one, OKC.
And Dame time was born.
Yeah.
What do you remember about the OKC shot?
I just remember everybody kind of waving, telling me to go, because they saw me waiting and I was so far from the basket. And I could kind of hear like people like, go, go, go. And, I could see CJ in my peripheral kind of like waving toward the basket. And I just remember knowing what I was going to do already. Like I had space. I saw the clock winding down. It was a tied game. So I was like, even if I miss, it's overtime. So lined it up. That was it.
And then the face.
Yeah. It was a blank stare, right?
Yeah,
What's crazy is I wasn't even aware of that until afterward. Like when it happened, I just kind of looked up. The camera was right there, and I just looked at the camera. Like it wasn't even intentional. So
it was awesome.
Ended up being a moment.
It ended up being a moment. Now you're headed back to Portland for the first time since becoming a Milwaukee Buck. As you look back, what's the one word that you would use to describe your career and your time there?
Priceless. The way it came together is just, it's something that you just can't forget. It's something you just don't let go of easily. It's not something that dies. You couldn't have scripted it any better. Coming out of college, playing in the Big Sky, Portland State was like my favorite team to go play on the road against because it was like the only actual city in our conference. My best friends out of high school went to school in Portland. It's close to home. Just the kind of city that it is, it was a perfect fit for me. So all of those things lining up, a lot of my closest coaches and mentors in the NBA was on the staff there. Like, it just lined up perfectly. And then how it went when I got there, just the city embracing me. Terry being my coach, playing from day one, rookie of the year, All-Stars is my second year, third year, just kind of how everything happened. It was like it was meant to be. The teammates that I played with, everything that happened there, the relationship that I have with the city of Portland, is just something that you just can't beat. I don't think it's a lot of people that can, in the NBA experience, can look at the city they came into and whatever team they play for most of the time, and use that word because that's just what it is. It's just priceless. You can't. It's hard to put it into words.
How are you feeling about going back?
I'm excited. I think for me, it's more about just going back home more than it is about the game itself.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to go and win the game, but I developed a lot of relationships around Portland. With not just the fan base, but just different foundations and different people around the city. My family is still there. My kids still live there. My brother, my sister, my mom, everybody's still there. Like a lot of my good friends, my cousins. So just being able to go and be home for a couple days and be back in the Motor Center, see a lot of the people that I worked with for a long time, and Sherry Hansen and Beth Hancock and Nick West and all the people that I worked with, and I spent a lot of time with Jeff Clark. I can't forget G. Um, it'll just be great to be back in the room with them and seeing everybody in such a familiar place.
Is there any part of you that's nervous?
I think if I was younger, I would be nervous. Like I said, it's more about me just being able to go back and be at home.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a real reason for me to be nervous.
Yeah.
At this stage in my career, I've had bad games, I've had great games, and I think the one thing that'll be new is probably the emotions that come with it. It'll be my first time being in the arena as an opponent or as a visitor. I'm sure the fans will be excited to see me, and it'll be a welcome home party. So I think that'll be the only thing that's different. But I'm not nervous about it at all.
You'll have to remind yourself to go to the visitors' locker room.
I might walk in and go straight to the home locker room. So I got to do my best not to do that.
Do you ever accidentally, when you have a birthday recently, you say, "Oh, I'm 20. I mean, I'm 29. I'm 31." Do you ever?
Yeah.
Oh, aren't you that basketball player? Do you ever say, "Still, I play for the the Milwaukee Bucks"?
I don't. I think because it's been such a thing. I'm constantly reminded that I play for the Bucks now. I play for the Bucks now by fans and like a lot of kids and people on Twitter and Instagram that constantly send me things. It's a constant reminder that I play for the Bucks now. So it hasn't been a problem.
Do you ever check in on, I'm just going to check the Blazers score. I'm going to check the Bucks score a little bit here.
I'm real tight with Anthony Simons.
Yeah.
He's my rook. He's still like my brother. We talk regularly. So most of the time I'm checking in on him. I want to see him do well and just see how he's coming along. So whenever I get opportunity, I'll catch the games, and I definitely check the box scores to see how he played and how the game went, who they played, and how they did against good teams versus teams struggling and stuff like that. But that's it.
Now that you've had some distance, now that you've had some time to reflect, how difficult was that decision for you to leave Portland?
It was extremely difficult because it wasn't a broken situation. It wasn't like I was miserable and disgruntled or anything like that. It really wasn't. I didn't have bad relationships. It was a great situation. Like I said, my whole family was there. It was comfortable. It had been set up over 11 years. So I was perfectly fine there. I was having success. But I just think as time goes on and the longer that you're in this league, you wanna have an opportunity to win it all. And especially for me, I know how much I put into the game. I know that I'm getting older. We don't get to play this game forever, and it would have killed me to not have an opportunity at least to play for it all. And it reached a point where I was able to see that that wasn't the direction that we were going in. So as much as I love Portland, as much as I love the organization, I still do love the organization and the city. It's my home. I still live there. My family still lives there. But I've been selfless my whole life, and I've always considered everybody else. And I've always looked at what it would mean for other people before I looked at what it would mean for myself. But I just felt like the time had come for me to make it about myself as far as my career, because I don't have forever to do it.
Sometimes I think that's harder. It's easier when it's like, this is broken, screw you, I'm leaving out of anger or out of spite in some ways. But when you look around and say, no, this is still good, and I know I'm going to hurt you by leaving, I feel like that's harder.
It's definitely harder because they were great to me. It was a joy going to work every day, and I love them to this day. I love them, love all of them. And I know that they love me. It's even when we just played them in Milwaukee the first time, it didn't feel like I'm finna get at them, or it was no tension at all. It was just like we we all was at half court talking, and it was just like it was more of a I miss you than it was like a problem. And I think that's because it was never a broken situation. Like I said, it was just the time had just come.
I mean, you waited. You waited.
Yeah.
You waited until the draft passed. You waited. You gave opportunities. There were conversations. Was there a moment that you looked around and you just said, you know what? I'm not angry, but this is untenable?
Yeah, I would say it was a moment where I was like, I just was having hope and having hope and having hope, and
Hope for what?
for us to put ourselves in a position to be a winner, or and any team that I'm on, I always feel like we're gonna have a chance to win. But that fight gets hard when it's like you have that mentality every year of your career, and then every year you end up seeing like, man, we a little short, or this is happening or that's happening. So I was just hoping like something.
For the Damian Lillard context, great point guard, excellent rival to Stephen Curry, the Warriors, has dedicated long time, years and years in Portland, battling it out, getting to multiple Western Conference championships, falling short, but just valiant effort, determined, great person on and off the court, Damian Lillard, from the Bay Area, Oakland. And this is a good interview, 28 minutes long, with Malika Andrews, talking about these very iconic shots, the shot against OKC. Okay, one word to describe him and her in Portland. Oh, this was it. Okay, and then we're going over the time to reflect on the decision. And then I guess we'll see reflecting on life, and then loyalty being so important. Watching the NBA draft, the Bucks being the right fit, Doc Rivers arriving in the pressure cooker, and defense wins championships, and then is a championship on the horizon. Should be a great interview. Hall of Fame without a doubt. Deputy championship ring. Portland will always love Dame. I forget watching the game as a child. It's awesome. Dame, it's eloquent. Oh. I'll give him that, yeah. I'm the greatest ever hooped, literally. Yeah. Quite literally. Only like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard, maybe Trae Young, can kind of pull off some of the shots they can pull off. If there's ever like a role, like an NBA sniper, it would be like Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard, and Trae Young, just those three. And if the NBA wanted to create a 4-point line, the NBA did decide to create a 4-point line. I mean, I already, in a previous video, past couple days, broadcast that I did, I explained to the NBA multi-million-dollar idea, change basketball, make it more entertaining, is to add the 1v1 tournament to the All-Star game. To have, respectively, like the 4 best players for each role in the West and 4 best players each role of the East. Do a single bracket 1-on-1 tournament to determine the best player of those positions. So the 4 point guards would go 1-on-1, first to 30 points out of respect to Stephen Curry. No, the first player to get to first player to get to 30 points, like a 5-minute limit. So it allows defense to do their thing. So then excellent defenders that aren't so offensively adept can use those 5 minutes to score 30 points and then deny their opponent and hold them to like 25 or 26 points. Or hold your opponent to 25, 28 points, and then the defensive player kind of wins defensively. And with this 1v1 tournament, you'll then get the crown number 1 point guard, number 1 forward, number 1 center of the West and Eastern Conference. And if you wanted to really break it up, you'd have like the top 4 point guards, top 4 shooting guards, top 4 small forwards, top 4 power forwards, and then top 4 centers. Kind of duke it out in 1v1 style. Even if you have 5 players, you then have the forwards duke it out and the point guards duke it out. So the shooting guard and point guards go at it 1v1 to determine the best. They'll have each have a representative. Both the forwards will go at it, and the forward that wins goes up against the centers. So the number 1 center will go against the number 1 forward, and the winner of that goes against the number 1, whoever won the shooting guard point guard position. So you have like this either a forward and a shooting guard or a point guard and a center going at it, and you get to see either defense or offense, score. You're most likely going to see more defense from the center power forwards, and then more offense from the point guard, shooting guard, and then small forward. You know, and that'd be really cool. Then you get to crown the best player of the West, give them a new title. It should be a Western Conference Pro player. Name it to like an old school player that was really great. Do it for the East Coast too. Call it the Magic Johnson. Actually, you shouldn't even call it the Magic Johnson Award because the point guard award should probably be named after Stephen Curry and allow him to live today to include in and solidify that title. That'll really propel them forward. Call the best shooting guard, I think, is still John Havlicek. I think technically, right? Unless he was a power forward or small forward. The title, the number one, should be like power forward wins the John Havlicek Award, or power forward, number one power forward for the year of 2024. No, number one power forward. If it is number one point guard, I guess it could be the Magic Johnson Award, but it should be probably the Steph Curry Award. Steph Curry will probably go down as the greatest point guard ever. Because like I said, first person gets 30 points out of respect to Steph Curry one-on-one. Steph Curry will probably set the record for most 30 points in this hypothetical 1v1 tournament. And the NBA could fill out their check and send it to me later. 2025, you can finally kick it off. And that'll really propel the players forward. People want to bring excitement and more millions of views. They can finally now, from this point forward, right, Steph Curry, LeBron James are going to be gunning for those titles as like LeBron James wants to be the number one forward in the West, and they love this title. You know what I mean? It'd be a few days before the All-Star game, and then it really plays into all the narratives and stuff like that. So then during the All-Star game, the news and reporters can then highlight, hey, you're now the number one shooting guard, number one point guard, number one center, number one power forward, shooting forward, small forward, shooting forward, or power forward. And even if, and there's another kind of bracket title on top, right? So then the shooting guard could have a title like number one shooting guard from the West, Klay Thompson. Number one point guard from the West, Stephen Curry. And they won the 1v1 tournaments, and they'll probably give titles and just name the award after Steph Curry. Stephen Curry, or my bad, you call it the Magic Johnson Point Guard Award. Number one player in the West goes to Stephen Curry because he'd win the tournament. Steph Curry will set the points record for fastest points at 30 points in this hypothetical 1v1 tournament. And Klay Thompson will probably also be like really close because this will really propel and push the pros to their peak. Every year they train for the season, and every year in the middle of the NBA season they get to cement themselves as the number one player of that season for that role halfway through. And then they get to hold on to that title. So then the various teams that have the number, like the five number one players, also allows power rankings for those teams to like better understand the power rankings. And were you second, third, or fourth place in your position out of this tournament? See what I'm saying? And if they really want to make it really fucking cool, guess what we do? The 1v1 tournament should be played by all the starters. See what I'm saying? Over a 5-day period or 7-day period prior to the All-Star game. You know, it'd be really cool and really intimate, and you can easily sell incredible tickets. Right? I don't think people understand how exciting this is. All of a sudden, I know Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green would be in that contention. Other Warrior players would not be good enough in the starters, and it puts even more weight on being a starter. Okay. People are like, how would you pull this off? People would pay tickets to see that. Trust me. People pay tickets to see it. They will line up 2 hours prior in long lines to see it. This is how you do it. If you wanted to have the 1v1 tournament, have it over 30 days. Best of one, single elimination bracket for all the players. Not just the top four. If you wanted to make it more concise and like leave it, if you did the top 4 players for each role, so there's 5 roles, right? Top 4, right? There's like 20 players. You got to send to the All-Star game. 20 players from the East, and then on top of that, what's it called? All the pros are there at the All-Star game. And you could probably do this tournament all in one day. But if you really wanted to make it like really cool, just kind of up the ante, make it like more spectacular, then he would do all the starters, NBA starters. They would lock themselves in. The coaches would sign off on it. These are my starters. So then Looney can have like a Cinderella story and actually be a great center, probably be like top 4 center or something in the West. And that, he would really love that trophy. Hey, I got 4th place in the 1v1 center tournament. And I mean, Kevon Looney kind of battling out, showing that he's great. We'll kind of forget about him. Or like Andrew Wiggins could be like, damn, I got 4th or 3rd place as the forward in my position in the West. Even more solidify his strength and ability. Or like Kuminga. All of a sudden he's like 5th place or 4th place in the West as a forward. And can really cement his legacy and like stardom and start building narratives. But Steph Curry and like Klay Thompson, Draymond Green would want to. Like if Draymond Green stayed at center, at the 5 position, Draymond Green could easily beat every single center in the West. Quite literally. Draymond Green could beat every center in the West and probably take the crown as the role position 5 best player in the West for 2024 and 2025. That's how great he is at defense. He nullifies the opponent's offense, dispels their capabilities. Draymond Green is so elite on defense. I've quantified it, calculated, and measured it. He's had games where he's only given up 4 or 5 points. And Steph Curry, all the starters in the Warriors would give up like 10 points on average, which is NBA. Give up 15 points on average, which is also NBA. Now, Steph Curry, anytime he didn't give up less than 10 points, elite defense. Anytime any player gives up 15 or 17 points, they're quite average. So guess like Donte DiVincenzo and Jordan Poole, I do apologize, but they would give up like 20 points a game. They would average giving up 15, 18 points a game, and then sometimes they gave up a lot of 20-point games. So there are 2 players in the Warriors that gave up negative 40 points. Oh, my, yeah, negative 20, negative 20. Sometimes it'd be like negative 35, negative 38, negative 40. They'd each give up 20 points each. Donte DiVincenzo and Jordan Poole. That's why they're not in the Warriors anymore. Called the analytics and metrics. And Draymond Green is the number 1 defender in the past 8 to 10 years in the NBA. First, the past 8 years to really solidify his past 8 years in the NBA from 2016 till now. 2016 to now, 2024, is still number 1, number 2, number 1 defender. Him and Giannis kind of go back and forth in terms of all the defensive kind of metrics. It's either number 1 is Draymond Green, number 2 is Giannis, and sometimes it's number 1 Giannis, sometimes number 2 Draymond Green. Like kind of, it goes like year to year. And so Steph Curry would probably set the record for like most 30 points scored in under 5 minutes in this 1v1 tournament. If you want to make it really cool, a Cinderella story, then like Chase Center 30 days prior to like the All-Star game, they would have a one-on-one moment. Like Steph Curry's point guard would take on like Portland's number 1 point guard one-on-one here at the Chase Center or in Portland. However they want to flip a coin or whatever. Make it fun. You know what I mean? People would show up. They'd wait in line 3 or 4 hours to get in, to have this giant celebration, home court advantage. Crowd would kind of stay quiet. Steph Curry, it's half court. All the cameras, projectors and all that. It's half the court's being used, one-on-one versus Portland's best guard. In less than 5 minutes, Steph Curry would win, take pictures, sign autographs, probably give his jersey to the other opponent. Like, welcome to the 1v1 NBA tournament. Shake his hand and all that. And then prepare for his next opponent. And the following week, would probably play against someone else. And it makes sense bracket-wise because they just win. So out of respect to Stephen Curry, he'd probably also get a bye. Sorry. He'd get like a bye week. You know what I mean? Because that's how great Stephen Curry is. If there's ever a tier system, I do apologize. But everyone that knows basketball knows that Steph Curry would be deserving of a bye week, while the other players, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, kind of other point guards that are lesser, I do apologize, would battle it out. Because Steph Curry right now is the greatest point guard alive. The only person that's ahead of him is Magic Johnson. Technically, theoretically, and hypothetically, and respectfully. Magic Johnson's number 1 point guard. Steph Curry, being the number 2 point guard of all time, rightfully deserves a break. If they did 1v1 tournament, you know what I mean? You'd have like 1 week or 7 days or 14 days off to prepare for his opponent. But then again, also the NBA is like, you make a lot of money too with the 1v1 tournament too. Because then other teams like LeBron James doing a 1v1 tournament, 3 hours, 4 hours before the game, this 1v1 tournament, LeBron would be preparing. Laker fans would show up, half the court's being used. The lights, the pageantry, the pictures, autographs, representing LA, representing his people against another forward from like Jonathan Kuminga or Andrew Wiggins would go down to LA, 1v1 for the tournament. And then hopefully that stadium is like half Warrior fans, half Laker fans. You try to make it fair. You know what I mean? especially for the 1v1 tournament, just out of respect for the 1v1 tournament. I know people are thinking, like, let the fan base get all the tickets. No. I think it would be fantastic to bring the fans together, make the fan experience awesome. So if it's Chase Center and it's the Lakers with the number one point guard, but they designate their number one point guard starter against Steph Curry. Well, Steph Curry, I'm sorry. You have the fans vote too. Be like, which stadium gets to keep their player with the home field advantage and make that a vote. And everyone would kind of vote for Steph Curry. I respect Steph Curry. Like, he's the point guard that should get the home field advantage. He's number 2 point guard of all time. Number 2 point guard of all time. And then Lakers can send their point guard. Kings can send their point guard. And the tournament can actually be done at Chase Center if they want. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So then all the the other starting point guards in the 1v1 tournament would all show up to the Chase Center like 30 days prior to the All-Star game. And they would duke it out in a single bracket. And then, for example, like for LeBron, all the fans can vote. Be like, LeBron's like the best forward. So then all the forwards would go down to LA, make it easier, right? Do it all in one day, have multiple tournaments, multiple 1v1 tournaments at the Lakers, you know what I'm saying? For the center, all the fans can vote, and it'd probably be, I think, Anthony Davis, technically. So everyone would vote, like, Anthony Davis has home field advantage. All the centers down go down to LA, and that'd be kind of really cool, right? But shooting guard-wise, check this out, there'd be a really cool vote between, like, Klay Thompson having home field advantage versus, like, the other shooting guards in the West. And that's when the fan bases can really have some, like, cool, tournaments, too. And so then they can even make like some NBA Players Association can even make rules too that state that only one player who gets voted in can have a home field advantage for his team, and even if a player has the second most votes, maybe they shouldn't hold it, and you would have the second most votes for another tournament, which then check this out, gives fans from other cities to be the host, of the 1v1 tournament too. But the Lakers might have like LeBron and the centers, which would also be really hyped too, and like respect for the organization. I bet the organization would probably fight for this. Like, no, if LeBron's voted number 1 center, we get home advantage for the 1v1 tournament. And then Anthony Davis gets voted number 1 center for the West, then he also gets to host the center. The center's kind of 1v1 tournament, and it'd be really cool for the Lakers to be. They'd be proud of like, hey, we have 2 players. And same thing with the Warriors. They might get like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson having the point guard and shooting guard tournament at Chance Center, really like solidifying their archetype, their score type, their play type. And SF is a big city with tons of hotels, and LA is a big city with tons of hotels and all that. So it'd be really exciting, really cool. Draw millions of fans, and like everyone would be hyped across social media. And the NBA pros would like, they want that title. They want that title. And even better, there's such juicy narratives. Like whenever they vote for the All-Star like starters, and like Steph Curry, like Draymond Green talking, Steph Curry wasn't the starting point guard. Ooh, I tell you this right now, that's fueling this inner. Why does Steph Curry go for 60 points even though the Warriors lost? Guess where that's coming from? That fuel, that's kind of inner like flame. That's just like he's going Super Saiyan 3. Steph Curry. It's because he's not a starter in the All-Star game. Steph Curry is like the second great, the living legend, greatest point guard right now, and like number 2 all time. See what I'm saying? So like this tournament would like, he would be like, oh, this is what the journalists, the NBA journalists could put the starters. All right, and then let me show you. Like Steph Curry would be like, Steph Curry right now, he's on a tear. You know what I mean? These past 3 games, he's on a tear. This all happened after he wasn't voted as a starter. It like ignited a power, a surge of like, he's like, do you know who I am? My whole life, what I've done, what I've represented, my people, my struggle. The short guys out there on the NBA court, like Steph Curry's not tall. He's like 6'2", 6'3", and everyone else, he's in a field of giants. Everyone's like 6'6", 6'8", 7 feet. It's like, just do everything you can against the odds. Imagine if Steph Curry was 6'8", like LeBron. Or imagine Steph Curry, he's like 6'2", 6'3". Imagine if he was 6'6", like Klay Thompson. He's actually he's already achieved greatness, even being like one of the shorter NBA players. Man, y'all have no idea. He's like 6'2", 6'3". If he was 6'6", 6'8", Steph Curry, oh dude, you'd end up being like the greatest forward of all time, matching a ton of other power forwards, and like really beating LeBron. You see, like imagine Steph Curry and LeBron at the same height. Bro, Steph Curry is like destroy LeBron. See what I'm saying? But Steph Curry's like 6'2", 6'3". He's probably 6'2", and then like with shoes and padding is like 6'3". That's what I'm guessing, because I keep seeing the 6'2" and the 6'3". or Steph Curry's actually 6'2", but everyone says he's 6'3", so that he like doesn't like the height used against him. But man, Steph Curry should really embrace the height. Like if he's really 6'2" and he's beating dudes that are taller, just to be stronger, better, and faster. He's already done that with 4 NBA championships, but this one tournament was really, man, he would be doing some incredible stuff. Just get some light in here. It's raining outside still, right? Yeah, storming and raining, but get some light everywhere. But yes, this is my multi-million-dollar NBA idea. I don't know why it doesn't exist. It should, you know. And then you can have like the NBA journalists. Man, the fans would love that juicy tidbit of like the NBA journalists all vote for like the starters and vote for like the MVP and all that. And whoever wins this tournament, the one tournament, is essentially really the NBA MVP. And it's much more attainable. And it's one on the court. So if the NBA wants to use my idea, they cast a check like now or like a few months or next year or whatever. Halfway through this NBA season. Either do this, you know, like I said, how the fans vote who they think the best players are. They win home field advantage. They represent their state in their court, and then they could host that tournament for that role. So Steph Curry is voted as like the number 1 point guard, and he would have home court advantage. And all the point guards from the other teams would show in the West would show up, do single elimination tournament. You can do it over 2 or 3 days. You really want to extend it. But I think you can do it all in one day. It'd be a really good Friday or Saturday to run these tournaments. You could do Saturday and do all the tournaments in the West, all the tournaments in the East for each respective player. There's only 5 roles, so it could be 5 stadiums, or it could end up being, 1, 2, 3, 4 stadiums, or it could end up being, because the Lakers might have LeBron and Anthony Davis win it, so then all of a sudden the forward tournament, power forward, shooting forward might be with the Suns with like Kevin Durant or something like that, right? Because he's a small forward or something like that, so he might be voted as the best, and all the shooting forwards going on to the Suns, home field advantage. Allows all the fans from different teams to travel, all the families, a big sporting event. And then the stadium is really a stadium with like, NBA fans from all across the West. It's really cool. Chase Center, all of a sudden, the point guards that show up to battle Steph Curry in his home court for the number 1 point guard position title and to go off to the major tournament, for the 1-1 tournament. Super exciting. There it is. Fans come in, journalists, and the stadium itself will have NBA fans of all different backgrounds and states, and that really brings all the fans together, network, intermingle, and all that. It's really cool. And that could really pull the sporting event. So 5 minutes each, right? And let's go to ESPN. Just what's going on? What in the hell is going on? What? Okay, that's what I thought, and I don't understand. ESPN, why aren't you loading? Oh my goodness, bro. Oh my goodness, bro. Oh my god. What's going on? ESPN. Load. Like, what is that? Kerr goes ballistic and gets the tech after no call instead. The refs, the NBA really needs to do a better job because the NBA has not done a better job vetting their refs. Too many times, Steph Curry, I don't know what it is. I think I do kind of understand it. It's a lot of the old heads, a lot of the refs are older guys, older than Steph Curry, and so they like seeing basketball done a certain way. They can only predict and discern and dissect and understand the human intelligence and counterintelligence that perhaps these old basketball heads are really holding on to a style of basketball from their era, not adapting to this era's basketball, and is calling it like it was 1980 or something like that. I mean 1990 or early 2000, 20 years ago, 2004, 20 years ago. Older basketball guys are like holding on to different, or like they're holding on to like 2010 basketball or 2001 basketball style. And Steph Curry is really like 2014, 2016 and above. So Steph Curry the past 8 years has been Golden State Warriors dynasty. They won 4 NBA championships the past 8 years. So 50% of the NBA season, and a lot of the past 8 years for 11 to 19-year-olds, all they've seen is Golden State Warriors. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, Steve Kerr is correct. He's like, too many times refs allow other players to hit Steph Curry in the head. That would never fly for Kobe Bryant or LeBron James. Never fly for Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. And people understand that LeBron James was propped up by the NBA once they allowed the marketing publicity to make him like the chosen one. And they did everything they could to try to prop him up. And so for LeBron James' first 12 years in the league, he was playing hero ball. It wasn't until like his 12 or 13 year. Not until LeBron was like 9 to 10 years in the league, did he really start playing team ball. His 11th year in the league, he kept getting pressure. Why he would shrink in the fourth. And so LeBron had been playing hero ball for so long that he's their guy. And you'll always see LeBron get his goals. He did the same thing with Kobe Bryant. They propped him up too. And so he got all the calls go his way, which inflates his stats. It makes him look great. So yeah. But Steph Curry he's breaking the mold. Steph Curry has changed the way you play basketball all around the whole world. Everyone that's 10 years old, 5 years old, everyone that's 15, 20, and 30, and 40-year-old that loves basketball. If you want 60-year-olds, 50-year-olds that love basketball, change the way they play basketball because Steph Curry. All around the world. Steph Curry's infamous. Anywhere he travels, overseas, internationally, people are going crazy just to be in his presence. To get like a photo, to be like close enough to get like a photo of Steph Curry. People go crazy. It just seems like the NBA should have over the past 8 years shifted to Steph Curry to be the face of the NBA, but they're like still propping up and holding LeBron James. Because like I said, other NBA players won't ever swing their arms and hit Kobe Bryant in the head or hit LeBron James in the head. Because they're kind of like, they're set up to succeed, propped up to succeed. But then like Steph Curry is it because he's like shorter? Because he's changed the whole NBA, he's changed all the owners and GMs and coaches think. Him, one man alone, changed the entire game of basketball and how we do defense and offense. Steph Curry changed how we defend and guard at the high school level, to the college level, to the pro level. One player. Whole offenses and coaches and schemes have been destroyed and thrown out because of Steph Curry, because they don't work against him or his style. So you probably name the 1v1 tournament after Steph Curry because he's probably going to win MVP on the court 1v1 like it was nobody's business, like he was late last Tuesday. Like he's coming to lunch. He'll school you sideways before you even think you were doing a crossover. He'll break your ankles and have you standing still when the ball's going into the hoop, swishing. He'll shock you out of your defense. He'll freeze you in his control and his mix-up. He'll press you into position and put you in disadvantage position off the back of your heel and score before you even blinked. Because in 1v1, Steph Curry is so quick and so powerful that he gets to ignore all the other defense because it's not there. It's just 1v1. I just need to beat one guy. Y'all jokers must have thought I was crazy. And then he would just show you like, ice cold, hit 3 threes in a row so quick that you can't even stop him. He'll move so fast that the other player's going to backpedal and he'll stop, pull up, fire, and you're out of position. Guess what? Because you don't have help defense. He'll dribble, crossover, mix up, hold you standing in your feet, side slouch, drooling out your mouth while he's firing the shot and you're leaning to the right. He scores on you. And the forwards and centers can't keep up with him. He'll dribble, freeze, keep them heavy-footed, flat-footed, dribble out their socks before they even can think, sweat blinking, realizing 50 million people are laughing at them. Like, you try to stop Steph Curry? He'll flip, tomahawk, layup, score. Reverse layup, behind pivot, 180 spin, score. Untouchable, unguardable, floater. Arc, in the air. Steph Curry can do 1v1 trick shots. And score so quickly, he'll probably set the scoring record in this 1v1 hypothetical tournament. And then the winner of this 1v1 tournament, because eventually you're going to have like Steph Curry on the West and like Damian Lillard, Giannis, or Tatum on the East, maybe Jimmy Butler. Steph Curry will represent the West because he'll beat everybody. Centers and forwards can't keep up. And he would score too quickly, which would be great. He'd get to 30 points in less than 5 minutes. But you shouldn't do the tournament all in one day because I know the players would kind of get tired of it. So you do like the first round one day, second round the third day, and like the third round the third day. You see what I'm saying, right? You sell tickets, money, and fandom and all that. And then NBA fans that have money can stick around to get the party for 3 days. How you want to do it? You know what I mean? And then another thing that all the NBA or sports organization will love too, having those extra titles on their players, where they hit home the franchise and the culture. This is what we have. You know what I mean? It fills up their trophy cases with more trophies of the players. Other accolades that NBA owners want to have to show off to other NBA owners. Like, this is what we achieved. You know what I mean? Represent our culture, our winning culture and all that. And something to be proud of. And constantly push and propel players to really focus their game. Really focus their game. Because then every year, you have a Cinderella story, right? Where, like, somebody you never thought of works their way up the 1v1 tournament to, like, play against LeBron or play against Stephen Curry or Luka or Kevin Durant as they rise, try to match Stephen Curry and LeBron. And then you'll see the difference in the elite talent. Like, LeBron will probably keep going. Luka will probably fall down. Kevin Durant will probably fall down. But, like, Draymond Green will, like, rise up in, like, the center ranks. Draymond Green could beat every single center. And then all these other, call them haters, NBA haters that hate Draymond Green would really, like, pick up their jaw off the floor, like, oh, damn, he's freaking elite at defense. He just schooled all our centers. Draymond Green is so elite at defense, he can steal the ball from... Draymond Green is so elite on defense, why he's number one defender, he can guard all 5 roles. No one else in the NBA can do that. Draymond Green can guard the point guard, he can stop the centers, he can stop the shooting guards, he can stop all your forwards. Clamp down on him. Draymond Green can steal the ball from anybody. Because they're not good enough. He's the number one defender. The most elite defender I've ever seen. Not until, like Scottie Pippen. I would say Scottie Pippen in the 90s, his defense. Even then, I still think Draymond Green's better than him. Even against, like, Tim Duncan, I think Draymond Green's defense is probably on par, if not better. They're both elite centers. Tim Duncan was so skinny, but highly intelligent, an incredible defender, multiple defensive awards. Draymond Green is in that same mold. He would beat all these centers. He would steal the ball, block their shots, destroy their shooting percentage. And Draymond Green would get to 30 points and probably hold other centers to like 20 points or 25 points. Heck, don't be surprised if Draymond Green gets to 30 points in this hypothetical 1-1 turn as a center, and he holds to the centers to like 14 points, like he did in Embiid. Draymond Green's held Jokic to like 17 points before, 16 points too. Like I said, it goes back to Draymond Green. He's played games. He's played games where he's only given up 4 points. He's played games where he's given up 5 points. He's played games where he's given up 8 points. And the other Warriors will give up 10 points, 15 points, 20, 15, 20. Draymond Green be out there. He had a game that was so elite, he gave up 0 points. I'll have a game where Draymond Green will give up 0 points and be like when I saw that, he'd only give up 2 total points the entire game. He'd give up 0 points to the opponent in front of him because he would get like 4 or 5 blocks, and like 3 steals. Draymond Green essentially would average like 2 blocks, 2 steals a game, but his stats may show him as like blocking, I think, once a game or stealing once a game, but the refs are so, I'll call it like it is, they're biased, and they don't call his blocks or steals. That's how elite he is. And so in a 1v1 tournament, Draymond Green would block the other centers because they're too slow to shoot. They're not faster than guards or shooting guards. He would steal the ball from them because they're too slow to shoot. He would interrupt and disrupt their shooting pattern, like Draymond Green held Embiid to 14 points, so he's held Jokic to 16, 17, 18 points before. And he would score 30 because he could score. And people are like, what? They're like, what? Draymond Green has humbled himself by allowing the offense to run through other players. And as times that the offense has run through him, he's picked apart his opponents, making his opponents look goofy. He does like fake crossovers and fake passes and fake elite passes, and then he would cut or back cut to his opponent because they didn't know what he was doing. They couldn't understand what he was doing. They couldn't read what he was doing. Because Draymond Green will slow down the game. If you ever seen Draymond Green take the point guard position where he's leading the ball with his elite passes and can bounce past the ball so fast, so accurately, into the hands of Klay Thompson as he's running. So, yeah. It just, like I said, the NBA wants to use my idea and cast check this week, 12 months from now, next year. But it'd be an amazing one-win tournament. And guess what you do? Like I said, halfway through the season, one-win tournament, all the roles, highest went up. Each year, all your players work even harder because it's attainable, MVP. It's won on the court. It should have always been like this. I don't know why. And then eventually you're going to have Steph Curry, number one player in the West, and then you have number one player in the East like Damian Lillard or Giannis or Tatum or something like that, or Jimmy Butler. Maybe Trae Young. Because it comes back to offensive efficiency, scoring. And Giannis would be there for defense and kind of balance offense, and Butler would be there for like defense, balance offense, and Damian Lillard's there for offense and defense, but more so offense, and Tatum's there because of like powerhouse offense, average defense. You know what I mean? Maybe Clint Capella could have like a Cinderella story, like Donovan Mitchell could have like a Cinderella story, but just understand like Trae Young would probably shoot more threes faster than Donovan Mitchell could stop him. Damian Lillard would also shoot threes faster than stop him. Giannis could probably like have the arm length because he's like number 2, number 1 defender. Like slow them down, interrupt their shots, maybe block their shots. You know what I mean? Jimmy Butler would have the defense to also steal and block their shots, interrupt their shot, and then he has the power to beat you one-on-one. Stuff like that. And then what you probably end up is like Steph Curry was like Giannis, like the MVP on even tournament, like before the All-Star game kind of kicks off, and it's all shits and giggles and super fun, you know, and the fans get to be there and experience it, and then that's when you get to do another vote. You have all the fans vote, right? Or out of respect, I bet the NBA players would kind of they would you know tip their hat to Stephen Curry. Giannis, doesn't matter. Everyone in the East, let's say it's Giannis, Damian, they would all be like, you know what? Allow Stephen Curry to host the one-win tournament from the West. He'll represent it. He'll easily beat everybody in terms of 1v1 role. Have him host it because he's the number 2 point guard of all time. Voted fine with the fans collectively. Only Magic Johnson's ahead of him. There was Magic Johnson 1, Steph Curry 2. Steph Curry, I know that the energy they can unite, the Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan 3 mentality, you know, the power up. He knows it that Magic Johnson's number 1. He's number 2. Magic Johnson has 5 championships and he has 4, and he wants to tie him at 5. Maybe surpass him by getting 6. I think like Giannis and like Damian Lillard and you know the rest of the guys like Tatum or something like that or Butler would also maybe bow down to this too. Bow down to it, but they would tip their hat and bow to respect like, hey, Steph Curry's number 2 point guard of all time. Let's see, he's representing the West. Have him hosted at Chase Center, and it would be like, winner of this 1v1 tournament is now MVP. You know, the NBA season. And it's halfway through the NBA season, right? And it'd be a perfect time too. You can even do this 1v1 tournament maybe it'd be during January. You know, it's a perfect time too because everyone can enjoy all their sports, and they pretty much go on near the end of January. And I know the NBA like wants, you know, some sort of event to occur during this time frame, and like this would be it. You know what I mean? If I went to go to the Warriors schedule, month of January. Oh my bad. This just looks wonky. Can I get the full schedule? There we go. So like, okay, here we go. So yeah, it's the month of January. It's 30th to the 2nd. Even just in this period, right? I bet the NBA like would want some sort of event to occur, and this would be like the perfect time to do the 1v1 tournament to determine the MVP and all that, because you're already 40 games in the season. Hopefully everyone plays 40 games, right? And it should occur right in the middle of January. Right here, right in the middle of January. It should be really cool, and you kind of see it right here. You know, like Curry's ramping up. This is what it kind of looks like. You know, it's like 60 points. Community got 29. He's at 37, 46, 33. Community at 25. It's really like right here in the month of January. Did like even the past like 60 points for Steph Curry and 20 and then 37, 46, 33. And Kaminga can now have this on his record. for being the number one scoring player during these games. These are records now on his belt. Wiggins scored the most points at 22. This going on his record. And players are proud of this. Trust me. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, they're proud of this. You look at it. This right here is Curry going. You know what I mean? Curry doing his thing. Polyminsky, he probably set a record, right? Something like that. Like as like a rookie to have like rookie year having most points scored or something like that. That's a really bad stretch for the Warriors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is on the coach. This is on Steve Kerr. That's the coach messing up, failing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Losing 7 of 8 games and losing even more games. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 13, having 13 losses all this close. This is on Coach Kerr. Of those 13 losses, you hope they'd be like 5-5 out of 10 losses, right? You know what I mean? Imagine if the Warriors have 5 more wins and 5 less losses. Okay, they'd be 26-20. That looks like that would make more sense, right? 26-20. I'm betting no. If it's 5 wins, 5 more losses, 26-20, it'd probably be like Warriors would technically kind of be right here, right? They'd probably be 26-20, 26-20. Yeah, they'd be like the 6th best team in the West. All the fans would be happy. But those 13 losses early in the season was really on Coach Kerr, with like wonky lineups and wonky game plans. If Coach Kerr would have just stabilized and went with something standard, like kept Draymond Green at the center, put Looney on the bench, like he's doing now. This wasn't until after I kept berating the Warriors across social media to put Kuminga in the starting lineup and put either bench Wiggins, put Kuminga in the starting lineup and put Draymond at the center and put Looney on the bench. Kept berating, bugging the social media NBA players. Social media like, do this. And then finally, I think someone got word to Coach Kerr or something to listen to me. And they did it. And the proxy elimination hate works. That's really efficient. So yeah. I mean, ideally, you would still have like Looney, Kuminga, Draymond, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and like Wiggins on the bench. They have like Wiggins out there. They'd be the better group. Like, Looney, Draymond Green, Kuminga, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry. It'd be better. But for some reason, Coach Kerr is still doing Looney on the bench and he's putting Wiggins out there. But in a resounding chorus of every single Warriors fans, NBA player fans already knows what I'm talking about. Like Andrew Wiggins is playing like his worst NBA career this season. He went from like the past 7 years, averaging like 19 points a game to now he's averaging like 10 points a game. My bad. Take my word for it. Just Andrew Wiggins in the last 10 games averaging like 13 points. On the road, he's averaging like 12.4. This season, he's averaging like 12.2 points, but career-wise, he's averaging like 18.7. So career-wise, Andrew Wiggins out of 677 games. Regressed to the mean, but not the mean, because it's not the mean. He would his free throws is still shooting the same. But he's averaging like 19 points a game. Sure, his minutes went down by 7. That's probably it, I'm guessing. He went from 35 minutes a game to 27 minutes a game. That could be it, playing less. But his three-point percentage is down. His field goal percentage are down. His free throw percentage is actually down. His rebounds are down. His assists are down. Blocks are down. Steals are down. His career, Andrew Wiggins would average 1 steal a game, which is great on defense. But then when you start averaging below a steal, he's like not really stealing the ball. The defense goes down, and his personal fouls went up, which is not good. His turnovers went down, which is good. But then the points are dropping. So 7 points are gone, but then he's also missing 7 minutes. The Warriors gave him plenty of tries. If I'm not mistaken, like he would play 38 minutes. He was 23 points. Okay, cool. But 41 minutes to 22 points. Okay, 31 minutes for 17 points. Okay. But then he would have 30 minutes, 9 points. He had 19 minutes of play time. They're losing He's shooting 16% from the field in 19 minutes. He gets us 2 blocks, which is good. These are good stats. 2 blocks, good stats. 4 rebounds are okay. Hope Wiggins sees the fact that when he rebounds, he frees up the team. I feel like Wiggins is getting dejected. If you want to know what, and he's shooting 100% free throw, and his 3-point percentage is 50%, but like, these stats are like cool, but then all of a sudden 16%, giving us 2 points in 19 minutes. Everyone knows like that's a bad look. Everyone knows that. Play 20 minutes, he'll give us 2 points. That's a bad look. And 100% all NBA fans knows. And so when you go from like, you're really only scoring like 10 points a game, you used to score like 20 points a game. But he's been on the bench. He's to be on the bench. Because right now, Andrew Wiggins is playing not like a starter, but like an NBA average player. So he can sit on the bench. It happens. It happens. Okay. And so, a lineup should really be Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green, Looney. But Coach Kerr is probably listening to me. He's like still putting Wiggins out there, but then like he benches Looney. Disrespect to Looney. I think Looney slipped in his capability. He should leave Draymond Green out there, and then if the opponent has a better center, then Looney's going to shut down their power forward, and Draymond will shut down their center. And even Klay Thompson can stop Jokic, which is incredible. Klay Thompson is actually like incredibly strong for being like I think 6'6", 6'7", or something like that. Let's go for Kevon Looney is 6'9", 222 pounds. Really, he's more like 6'9", like 230. Only 27 years old. Utilize his age. Do the thing. Wait, Usman Garba? When did we gain Usman Garba? What? Second in the league. Wait, didn't he come from a different team? Hold up. Oh, what? Second season. Oh, that's what I thought. Yeah, he came from the Houston Rockets. Okay, so this player, 21, 2022, 10 minutes, 12 minutes. He's a power forward. He's 6'8", 230. No, he's more like a center. Okay, maybe they want him to learn from Draymond Green. And played 2 games, 24 games, 10 minutes, 75 games, like 2 games with the Warriors. He hasn't really even been played, but he's a center. Oh, I thought that was something. Okay. I don't know why they put forward, because like you put Draymond at the center, Dario, Trace Jackson Davis, and Usman at the center. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centers. And then Trace Jackson Davis is the 6'9", 245. He's basically a rookie. He's 2023 draft class. He's just bigger and stronger. He just needs to learn defense as quick as he can and the fundamentals of the center position. 35 games, averaging 14 minutes a game, giving us 7 points. That sounds about right. People are like, what? If Trace Jackson Davis was given 25 minutes a game, he'd probably average 14 points. While also playing good defense, averaging 0.8 a block. Steals are down, makes sense, right? Personal fouls 1.6. Field goal percentage is 70. Pretty good, man. It looks like a center where you can run some plays through him, run some plays by him. Played 9 minutes, gave you 5 points, awesome. Played 13 minutes, gave you 7 points, awesome. Yes, he gave you 8 points. Average 8 points in the last 10 games, giving us 13 minutes, awesome. So if you really increase Trace Jackson Davis to like 26 minutes, he'd probably give you 15 good points, which is like great, mainly because he's hitting 71% from the as a center from the field. So allow him to have like the 6-foot, 10-foot jump shot, or the 3-foot, 1-foot, 3-foot layup and dunk. People don't understand the distances. 1-foot dunk, 3-foot dunk, or the 6-foot shot, or the 10-foot shot. So yeah. Oh, shoot. And then Kuminga's like, tonight he's getting 35 minutes a game, giving you 16 points. I'm like, yeah, but Trey Davis, if you gave him 25 minutes, he'd probably give you like 15 points. Give him 32 minutes, he got to 23. Awesome. You know, last 10 games, Kuminga's been 32 minutes, averaging 23 points a game. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. You could look at it as like 5-point average higher than Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins, if you played 34 games, would be like Andrew Wiggins would play 32 games. I mean, Andrew Wiggins would play 32 minutes, but only give you like 18, 19 points. And Jonathan Kuminga is better because now he's giving you 32 minutes at 23 points. During the regular season, we saw the numbers. So 25 minutes a game, giving us 15 points. So if the Warriors really want to like in terms of coaching, and other NBA coaches could like copy it too or whatever, just test your player over like a 5-day stretch or 5-game stretch. Have Trey Davis 5 games straight, give you 25 minutes a game, and can he get above 15 points? Because yeah, here I'll show you. So super easy numbers to look at. Trey Davis is basically, I'm not even going to say he's playing 14 minutes. I'm going to say he's playing 13 minutes. He's playing 12 minutes, and he's giving you like 6 to 7 points a game. So if you were to double this to like 25 minutes a game, because of his efficiency at his shooting, I bet if he was playing 25 minutes, he would also give you 15, 16 points. And you'd be like, oh, snap. Yo, can Trey Davis now play 33 minutes and give us, 20 points a game? And I'm like, probably yeah. So it should be like Trey Davis, Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry. And that would be the strongest Warrior unit. And then you have like Podominski on the bench, Andrew Wiggins on the bench, Kevon Looney on the bench, maybe Moses Moody, like Guy Santos, something like that. If you need to bring in Podominski, Jeremy Lin, Moses Moody, Andrew Wiggins, like Kevon Looney. If you need your bench to be more solid, you need to bring in Jeremy Lin. I just saw Jeremy Lin get like 40-something points in whatever tournament, in whatever league he's playing in. And Jeremy Lin's been averaging, he's scored like 30-some points in whatever league he's in. Man, he looks like a great shooting guard or point guard to bring in to the NBA. And the NBA would like love the Warriors for doing that because everyone loves Jeremy Lin. He's like he's a wholesome dude. It'd be incredible to see him in a Warrior uniform. I think he's a veteran that would take less money to be on to play with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and Kuminga and Wiggins and Looney and the whole coaching staff. So what else is there? Yeah, I think that's where the Warriors are messing up. I think it's super simple math and super easy stuff to look at. People look at it, like if you look at Trey Davis, just say he's super efficient. It's a number that I love to see. He's super efficient. And then say it's 12 minutes. He's giving you like 6 points. Just double it to 25 minutes a game for 5 games and see can he average. Run offense and run plays through him. Give him a chance. Okay. Have him play 5 games at 25 minutes each. And can he get to 15-point minimum? They'll probably give you 16 points. And then after that, kind of he succeeds at doing that. like Kuminga's numbers. Kuminga has like 24, 25 minutes, giving you 15 points. Oh, damn. Very interesting. Kuminga's still shooting really good at 53.8%. 71% from the free throw line. Okay. Sure. I think his free throw numbers will probably go up if he has the opportunity to get more dunks, more plays going through him. But you love this because you want a guy who can either dunk 1 feet out, dunk 3 feet out, or shoot 6 feet or shoot 10 feet. So his 6 foot to 10 foot, little shot could also be unguardable depending on the matchup. Trace Jackson Davis would carve up and over the defense because Steph Curry gravity, Klay Thompson gravity, Podominski gravity, Andrew Wiggins, Kuminga gravity, and then Trace Jackson gets his shot. He gets his shot. You see what I'm saying? Steph Curry, Draymond Green, or Klay Thompson can pass the ball, and he can make that 6 foot to 10 foot shot. Because then they'll start kind of moving slowly, and they'll kind of fake like they're getting open, and then they pass the ball like they're moving, and they pass the ball behind their back to Trace Jackson Davis, and he catches it. He doesn't have to really jump shot. He just turns and shoots, or turns and like layup. He doesn't need to do the alley-oop. You just need to draw Steph Curry gravity, Klay Thompson gravity on the court. On the court, different maneuvers. Trace Jackson can then slip out, and you always go in the opposite direction. You always go in the opposite direction. You understand that? Explain it. Imagine this is the baseline. This is the. I'll explain a super simple play. Just give me a. There we go. So always move in the opposite direction. And you attack. Trace Jackson Davis here. Steph Curry's here. Steph Curry kicks out this way, and his defender falls him. Trace Jackson can leave his defender and slip this way. And both of these defenders are looking at Steph Curry. So defender looking at Steph Curry, defender looking at Steph Curry, kind of keeping an arm on Trace Jackson. He then slips this way like he's about to fake a screen to here, slips back, and then Curry does the one dribble handoff, or Draymond Green from here did the one dribble pass to Trace Jackson because everyone's looking at either Klay Thompson or Steph Curry. So how you punish defenses is you need to split the court in half. Klay Thompson has to operate on this half. Steph Curry has to operate in this half at all times. Just give whoever shoots better on which side. I think it's like Klay Thompson shoots better on the right, and like Steph Curry shoots better on the left. I think historically or something like that. And the mix-up is when both players in the center, defenses freak out. If Klay Thompson and Steph Curry are like kind of together right here, and they're walking up, and they're both right here, the defenses are freaking out. Like, what are they doing? Because then Klay Thompson gets at the screen, and the centers hold the big you have like the power forward in the center down here, holding the defenders. And Klay Thompson should be moving this way, setting the screen. And Steph Curry dips out this way and then fires. And so you always move in opposite directions and then cut back and then score. So Trace Jackson would run this way, Steph Curry would run this way. Everyone would look at Steph Curry, and he could pass, dribble, and then Trace Jackson's catching it, either dunking it or shooting it. And really freak out teams, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, as they're walking up, then both shift this way, and then both their defenders, the point guard, shooter guard, are looking at them, right? And the forward and the centers are right here. Forward, center, or center, forward. Shooting guard, point guard of the opposing team are trying to hold Looney, Draymond Green, Kuminga, Klay Thompson. Now imagine the center is not Looney, but it's Trace Jackson Davis. Now do you see the play I'm trying to pull up? Now imagine instead of Looney, it's Trace Jackson Davis. They're kind of like, oh, it's a rookie. And then Draymond Green's here to set the screen to block two of them. And then Trace Jackson takes off. He ends up over here. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry shield each other and then dribble one pass. And then Trace Jackson catches it and then can re-engage or catch it and then shoot. Because everyone's looking at Klay. Everyone's looking at Steph in this quadrant. And they're not looking at the center who's on the baseline, who's sneaking underneath, or rushing past his opponent, who gets blocked by Draymond Green. Draymond Green will then block the center that's trying to stop him. And the forward, who's too small, switches off and can't keep up with Trace. He's 6'9", 6'10". 6'10" in shoes with long arms. That's a better play. 100% win rate and 140K. This is tactics and strategy. Steve Kerr could be utilizing Steph Curry's gravity more to create plays and positive reinforcement to the other NBA players on the team. You can actually use Steph's gravity more and not have Steph gravity run around, but literally understand that if Steph Curry just stays in a quadrant, he can shoot threes from this quadrant, be efficient, and his gravity will hold the defender in this quadrant, which then frees up your offense and defense. You split the court into 4 parts, and every single NBA coach is like nodding down, taking notes right now. With this play. Forward here, center over here. Utilizing your forward to set the screen to get your center free, like Trey Davis, who's younger, who'll slip past, and the other forward has to break and try to catch the center, who's longer, taller, healthier, and then he gets an easy play. Can you score within 1 feet and dunk? Then Steph Curry can then fire like a really quick fake shot. People are like, Steph Curry's missing, and then Trey Davis catches the alley-oop and dunks. Or Steph Curry or Klay Thompson makes the pass really quick because the smaller forward is now on Trey Davis, and Draymond can stop the enemy center. And Klay Thompson's actually strong enough to stop Jokic. Klay Thompson can also be in this position as a forward and block the enemy center. And Draymond Green's a center and a forward who can also block other centers and forwards. And I know Kuminga and Looney would love this play because then now the play involves other forwards and other power forwards setting their elbows and like blocking, opposing players that try to run through them. And I love this. And other NBA teams will love this too. Because then it's offense that's designed for like the 5, the big man. Utilizing the gravity of your guards. Everybody's happy. The guards are like, my elite pass, a point guard, a shooting guard, just beat that enemy defense. And then the centers and the forwards the forwards get to beat up the other players by using their elbows. Stopping the other team, try to run through their screen. And they get the opportunity to then draw fouls from the opponent's team too. Draymond Green's going to screen anybody. Klay Thompson can screen anybody. Looney can screen anybody. Wiggins and Kuminga can screen anybody. And Wiggins gets the opportunity to like elbows out, just like this. Use his elbows to screen and block the other opponent. Put his arms out. Stop the opponent. You get to see their strength. And then these players can change up too, because then Looney and Trace Jackson and Draymond Green can block right here, and then Kuminga can use his quickness, get open for the alley-oop, or get open for the pass to the dunk. And then Steve Kerr will like this too, because he loves his motion offense, where the ball movement beats your opponent. And this works because everyone has a powerful point guard that could just sit in a quadrant. And if they want to sink back and stop this kind of cutback play, or baseline cut, everyone call it, then they got to commit resources to this quadrant. And how you really stress teams out is you have Klay Thompson over here and Steph Curry over here. And separating them gives them opportunity. Because if Klay Thompson stands right here and Steph Curry stands right here, they either stand on the line or they stand inside. Your opponent's going to stand here to stop Steph Curry standing here, and Klay Thompson can stand right here, and the defender has to come out and stand right here. That opens up the baseline. So, there you go. But, I just think Coach Kerr should retire. His wonky lineups cost them a ton of losses. Where it should be like 6 in the West, like 26 and 20, or whatever. But yeah. Oh, I have laundry. Why was this? Oh yeah, my bad. I need to upload these videos. I was did videos of different stuff, like my December 22nd had like 17 views. I was like, okay, cool. I was just going through and just seeing some stuff like my January 6th. I'm a small streamer and just started and all that. I was just thinking, January 6th I had like 27 views on a stream. I was like, cool. It's not bad. Like on January 5th, the previous day, I think mainly people tune in to like the long form content, I guess, sometimes. Probably it's because it's like 7 hours of streaming. And people like the, I don't know, tune in for, and then I guess even if it's 6 hours, it's because it was like a Friday, January 5th, and I was talking about I was relaxing, talking about like world news, health info, U.S. news. People tune in, so I was like, okay, cool. Just stuff like that, but just something I wanted to see, which was like videos I need to edit really quick. Just cutting them up and to like 1, 2, 3, like these 3 videos I gotta do today. If it says 0 days, I think it means today. I think 1 day means 24 hours, but kind of 24 hours. I think basically I just need to cut up these videos, December 5th and the 6th, and it looked like there's only like 1, 2, 1, 2. And so 10 hours total, but just kind of, and even then, I think it's more so the time of the day, because it could be 5 hours for 10 views, like 5 hours for 7 views, and like, overall, I've had a day where I can stream 9 hours, and it's longer form content. I think I'm getting 15 people. If you stream longer hours, should get like 10 people watched, versus like 3 hours you get 3 people, 2 hours you get 3 people, 3 hours you get 6 people, 3 hours, it's like 11 people tuning in. So I think that can also help streamers too. If they see like 8, 9, 10, it's only like 3 hours, but just a little bit more, 2 hours, 3 viewers, 3 hours, 6 viewers, 3 hours, 11 viewers. I think just something about consistency. Maybe if your stream is always 3 hours, you could probably like slowly start growing something. Because even if it's 6 hours, this is me just sleeping. This actually is a sleeping stream for 6 hours. I still got 4 people tuning in, watching a sleeping stream. This one, my bad. This is I might have been sleeping. It had like 15 viewers for 9 hours. I don't know. It means people are like, I don't know. It's like called like getting cozy, or like being comfortable getting cozy. They're probably sleeping and I'm sleeping and they're just sleeping as a unit. Maybe I don't know, or I don't know, but yeah. Could be men and women alike just tuning into the favorite sleeping stream and they're just stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Just looking at it now. Oh, that one expires. Oh, I messed up. You gotta go all video and you have to go expiring. I gotta edit these 3 videos really quick. Also have laundry I need to get. It's dry laundry, but this is blackberry tea. A good tea that'll, in my humble opinion, and everyone will look at it, boost your immune system and all that. So get some blackberry tea. Really good. If you're able to find it any kind of every major grocery store I think has some sort of, has the full gambit of tea, full variety of tea. You're able to find some blackberry tea. I was just gonna cut this up super simply. Another stream where I wasn't really streaming, like I was here. I'm pretty much doing the same thing here. I was gonna do the same thing. Editing videos. Oh my gosh. Going to YouTube. Oh, with the lighting, what you're seeing is, I think because my skin, they probably can't really see it. Orange is coming from an orange light. So the orange light is, what's it called? You're only seeing if someone's skin has orange in it. And the camera isn't only so much. No. So like this, even my camera is not really that accurate. Oh, I think it was down to here, I think. Something like that. What's it called? Oh, only if your skin has the hue in it. So brown is just much more healthier red. Make more sense? So any kind of orange you see is because I have like healthy skin, and the refraction and scattering of photon lights that are hitting and bouncing off is the absorption of everything and the reflection of nothing. Say it again. Because you have hair, you have, it's a plastic light that has like an orange piece, right? So white light's hitting the orange piece, reflecting everything else but orange. So then I see the orange, and you're seeing a bouncing of it off of the skin through its, what's it called? A scattering of its light rays, or photoelectric magnetic force. And as it's bouncing and interacting with something that's healthy and red hued. And so that's what you see then. And then when you see you still see kind of pink or red in the hands because it's just like healthy skin and all that. And only, no offense to the under half, but this white light is a blue light. So blue light's already more on a gray spectrum. So then what you're only seeing reflecting back is, but in terms of an orange light, you might be able to see it. You see the orange reflection is reflecting the healthy red that's in my body. And then you see this blue that's popping up. It's because it's a blue light from the white screen. It's reflecting and scattering back anything that's going to represent blue. And so which is usually of lighter skin tone. So then it pops. And you can see it right there. You see a combination of my fingers, the red, the white, the light blue that's pulling out and reflecting anything that's that it can match. And then you're seeing a little bit of the orange and the healthy red, which is of course anything inside the blood of the cells that are red, but mainly the skin, being a person of color, being 40% black, that my skin already has hues of brown, which leads more towards red. And so that's what you see reflected back. And then if you have hues of blue, anything that can match and reflect back any kind of lighter shade. So any light skin cells are then bouncing back. And you're seeing, you see the blue, but the blue is from the screen. So then on my face, my brown skin is closer to hue to red, so it's reflecting the orange, but the reason it looks kind of gold is also the health of my skin. So it's at the same time not reflecting back orange, not reflecting back red, but of a mixture of the most healthy skin as photoelectric magnetic radiation bounces off on the photons and reflect backwards, and it comes out like gold and yellow, even though this is a orange light. And so, for example, if someone is not brown or light skin, right, if someone has a light skin, the orange light would still project like a golden, nice soft hue, but it might not, if you're blonde, right, any kind of golden color would reflect back. If you have red hair, any kind of vibrant red would probably bounce. And so if I had other colored stuff, oh, here we go. So if an orange light, right, is being hit with the blue, the only thing that's really popping out, let's see if I can, I really probably can't see it. I really can't see it. It's just color. No, I still can't see it. Blue's too dark. Oh, there we go. It's very light and subtle. But what you're seeing on the cloth that's reflecting back orange is actually the white strands that aren't fully dyed. So this top, only the white cloth that is almost like faded, right? So like the more deeper indigo of the cloth isn't reflecting orange, but basically of like the white cotton fiber that is like lighter. You know what I mean? That kind of make more sense. Like that's the only thing that's reflecting back that can match the hue of the orange. So that's why certain light looks healthier in other people. You're seeing everything and nothing at the same time. You're seeing a glimpse of healthy either red blood cells, bouncing back, trying to match that warm hue, or there's no real reflection or hue at all, and it's too pale or something like that. Versus you look great, or a person or everybody should look great in orange because it'll show how healthy their skin is. So yeah, most everybody. I said everyone should look great in orange, but if you do see somebody that's like doesn't look healthy skin in orange, then probably tell them. It's like an instant health check or something like that. Because you're seeing whether that person has healthy cells. Your skin is another organ of your body. But, let's do this laundry. We're 36 minutes in the stream. It's 8:38. My favorite coffee shop. Oh, shout out to Girly Pro for giving me a follow 18 hours ago. Greatly appreciated. Appreciate your support stopping by. Shout out to my brother for subscribing to me like 24 hours ago. Appreciate the sub. Helps the channel grow. Appreciate it, my brother. And then we have another new follower named AUREOP0. Maybe his name means Europe. I think Europe. Follower's name might be Europe. I think. No, but I think it's the latest follower. AUREOP0. I think your name means. Is it Europe? Europo? Europe? Europo? Europe? I don't know. It could be AUREP. Sometimes people just have numbers like John Stockton 23 or something. You know what I mean? Some people just have numbers. Zero could be anything. The zeros come more into fashion because the NBA players were zero. So his name could be like Ayo Rep or something like that, or Aura Op. It could be Aura, like A-U-R instead of A-A-U-R-E. Aru Up. My apologies if I mess up your name. However you want to be pronounced. Your name is either Europe or Aura Rep Zero or something. But thank you for the follow. Greatly appreciate it. Help support the channel. I'll get some laundry. juice. Fold some laundry. Oh, what the heck? Did this screen mess? No, I think it's just the... It should go here. Oh. I can also put one more thing. Hold on. That's what laundry room. Oh. Okay. Oh.
Hard to finish, went into overtime, obviously. What made the difference in the end for you guys?
Just a few more plays down the stretch. I mean, Steph was obviously going in that second half and got him up to 50 or whatever he was going, and that's...
Lindsay Lohan picked like an average looking dude, you know what I mean? Lindsay Lohan, this is her husband. Yeah, she's picked some average looking dude. Doing his thing. Good on her. Congrats to this guy. They've probably been happily married for a long time.
That overtime, we just got a few more stops, got some rebounds, and just made a few more plays, and that's the reason why we won.
Would come up. We would have opportunity. We got these picks, we didn't put ourselves in a position to get a high pick, and it's, an opportunity to have some movement and make a run for it. And I think after the draft, I just realized like it wasn't gonna happen. And the conversation just kind of turned into like, this is what the idea of what we can do, and I didn't believe in it. So it wasn't a malicious lack of belief. It was just one of my greatest strengths. I know is my heart is fully into it and fully believing, and I just didn't believe what was in front of me, and that was the moment of truth for me.
But you said when there was a reunion, it felt more like a I miss you than any sort of contention.
Yeah.
What do you miss most about the Blazers, and what do you like most about being with Milwaukee?
I think what I miss most about the Blazers is nothing like people you grow up with. Like I'm from Oakland, you from Oakland, so like my friends that I grew up with is nothing like those experiences. You can't replace that with experiences with people you met once you get into the NBA. It's like the foundation, the time, what we went through. You can't replace those things. And I think that's what I miss most about Portland is like that's my NBA childhood. I was 21. They introduced me to everything. They gave me the opportunity. They poured into me. They took care of me. They supported me and believed in me. It's just so much that took place in that 11 years that I appreciated on levels, deeper than just on the floor. Just as a person, how they treated my family. The things that they made possible for me, how they participated in a lot of my stuff off the court and just made things flow for me. So I really missed that part of it because they were there from the beginning. And, you can't say that about everybody. The thing that I love the most about being a part of the Bucks is that they weren't there in the beginning, but they show me the appreciation and the love and the respect, which shows me that they acknowledge my body of work and what I've done and who I've been, not just as a player but as a person. So it's not always like that either. They could easily just be like, what have you done for me? And, you need to do this, you need to do that. But it's like it's almost like they just paying it forward to me, because they recognize who they brought in as a person and they know what I'm capable of as a player. So I think just the hospitality, knowing what I'm experiencing, like in my personal life, how accommodating they've been, how supportive they've been. It's been great. I can't complain at all. And, one of the first things I noticed when I got to Milwaukee was how tight the organization was. It felt like a family type organization, which is what it what I had come from.
Yeah.
So coming into that and then them receiving me and kind of embracing me the way they did, it was like it became one of my favorite things about being here right away, and it's only grown since then.
Yeah. You and I have known each other a long time,
Yeah.
and I have always cared, you know this deeply, maybe too much, what other people think of me, and it's something that I know I've had to work on. And as long as I've known you, loyalty was a moniker that you wore very proudly. I'm wondering what you had to go through personally, grappling with in your own mind, setting that aside and putting yourself first, because it's not just as simple as, okay, now I'm going to go try to win. I know that was hard for you.
One thing that I've always said, you know, and if you go back and look at
Fargo is
Oh
the
my
new
goodness.
virtual assistant from Wells Fargo.
What's going on right now? Oh,
This is
forgot I freaking
metabolism
did
killer.
Dude.
You want to see who we
I forgot I was gonna do that.
they said, you know, people use that loyalty word and they make up what they want out of it. You know, they make up the stories, and you know, a lot of people try to clown me like, oh, loyalty. You know, he's being loyal when they're losing, and you know, things like that. And you could probably see me saying it 5 to 10 times where I'm like, look, I'm not. I understand this is business, and you know, the loyalty can't be to an organization. My loyalty is to who I am and what I believe, and I stood on that for a long time. And there comes a point where you know you just have to see things for what it is. You know, my loyalty hasn't changed. It's just the fact that you got to know what's best for yourself. You got to know, you know, when the time comes, what you need to do. And I just think that's what happened. It wasn't a lack of loyalty. You know, I think it was on both sides that what the team wanted to do and what I wanted to see happen. You know, it just couldn't be at the same time. So I don't think it was a matter of loyalty. It just was time.
Dame time.
Yeah, it was just time.
I don't want to make this into a dramatic movie moment, but were you watching the NBA draft and the Blazers picked, and then it was sort of like, okay.
I was in Paris, and
My
during the
bad.
draft, I
Let
was
me
at Fashion
tune
Week.
this as I'm typing out what I'm thinking for this hypothetical. The concept, the idea of this occur in January or middle or late January. It's awesome time for players and fans, drawing millions more views, or have this occur, a few days before the All-Star game. Then the fans that voted for the players can all feel happy and then earn MVP award or crown a new kind of mid-season MVP. The NBA MS MVP title goes to Steph Curry. Something like that. You could either have the top 4 point guards, top 4 players for each role. So if you sent 10 teams from the West, you could have 40 players. You could have the 5 roles, have it 4. So then you have 20 players from the West, 20 players from the East. Do this 1v1 bracket, determine the best point guard, best center, and then you have the number 1 point guard, number 1 shooting guard duke it out to determine. Both the forwards duke it out, win it, and the winner of the power forward, shooting forward, that wins goes against the center. The center, whoever wins, they go up against the winner of the point guard, shooting guard. And whoever crowns that is the Western Conference representative. And you have the Eastern Conference representatives. The East side has a Eastern Conference number 1 player after the point guard, the Warren PG, and shooting guard go at it. Best of 1. Oh, the whole tourney should be first to 30 points, or whoever has more points after 5 minutes, 1v1. So it allows defensive pros to slow down and play like a little defense, playing great or excellent defense, and get to 30 while superstar defenders will probably score 30 points and hold their opponents to like 25 or 28 points, making for great defense to be talked about, and like narratives and stuff like that. And this is all before the All-Star game. And so then, if you really want, then you can have the 5 number ones from the West, 5 number ones from the East represent, and you can really have the kind of earned playing time for each number 1 and like number 2 player for the All-Star game. Really earned it on the court. So then you have the 10 to 15 players from the West and same for the East, each earn their spot. So then if the West wants 15 players and same for the East, and 15 players in the East, then it's the top, 1 to 3 players who finished, first, second, and third in the 1v1 tourney are the depth chart for the NBA All-Star game, making it all a huge fan event. And the if the players can vote for home court for the 1v1 tourney, then it's even more fun idea and concept for the NBA to use and pay me. They can cash a check now or in 2024 or 2025 or beyond once they see this idea. And what would make it really cool is have like the fans for home court for each respective kind of player voted by the fans, adding more fandom and meaning and all that. For like home court. So like collectively, Stephen Curry is the living legend and like greatest point guard of our time and operating today. And Magic Johnson is really the only like number 1 point guard of all time. And Curry is like all time like number 2, like right now. Number 2, like right now. So then like the fans could vote, be like the 1v1 point guard bracket goes through Chase Center, Waterstone Court. And in the West, in the West, I bet it would either come down to a fan vote for Jokic with the Denver Nuggets for their home court concept, NBA voting for the 1v1 tourney. So then Jokic gets his home court 1v1 advantage and all that. Or maybe the Lakers and Anthony Davis might win the fan vote for home court. Stuff like that. Making it so all the centers play their 1v1 either in LA or Denver. Bringing together fandom and NBA fans. Huge idea. Great idea. More eyes. More millions of eyes. More NBA narratives. Accolades for everyone. Idea, concept for 1v1 tournament. And then winner crowned, rewarded the NBA mid-season MVP title or something like that. So that really propels, it'll really propel all athletes and roles. It'll really propel all athletes and roles to like hone their skills and roles to improve the NBA. If it's the top 10 players for each role is voted into by the fans, or have all the NBA starters participate, so that it's even more onus and gravitas on the coaches to set proper lineups and starters. And pay starters NBA starter money for a reason. And it'd be super fun. Millions of our eyes, ton of trash talking, ton of narrative. NBA basketball about this. And by having like 1v1 tournament, all the fans vote. Steph Curry's like number one point guard. Then 10 or 14 other point guards, whatever. It's like the top 4 pointers. It should really be like 10 point guards, right? Because the fans should vote for like top 10 point guards. They all go to Chase Center, go 1v1 against Steph Curry, or like if all the fans vote for like Jokic is like number one center, then all the centers go to Denver and they do the 1v1 tournament. You can do it like in a day. You should do it over 3 days. You should do like first round, second round, third round, right? Because there's no need to like get tired playing all those 1v1s. Because if there's 10, that means there's like 5 games. You know, it could be like 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, breaks in between. People are like, you probably could do it in a day. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. 25 minutes with breaks in between and like showmanship and and I'll use half the court. You can easily get fans to stadium because then you have fans from different teams all coming out. Let's get Chase Center, for example, 1v1 versus point guard Steph Curry. Then you have fans from all the other teams show up to Chase Center, 1v1 tournament, all the top 10 point guards versus Steph Curry. But they would each duke it out, of course, single bracket elimination. You could also make it really fun. Instead of 5 rounds, 5 minutes each, right? Where it's all of a sudden it's like it starts cutting down. Because the 10 goes to 5 matches. If you have the first round is like there's 10 players, then it's 5 matches. But it'd be cool if you use all of the NBA starters because really time can go really really fast. In terms of, but you can really extend it out depending on what you're trying to do. So I'll give you another example of how to like ease into it. So if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so if there's 15 point guards and 15 point guards, and they're all in the Chase Center. And then you have your certain players need buys. It's uneven. Well, then Steph Curry, like 1 and 2, right? So if there's 15 players, you could probably do the 5 number 1. Yeah, you could probably do the 5 number 1. Yeah, you could do the 5 number 1 point guards all kind of sit by in the second round bye or third round bye. You don't want to disrespect that many players, but they all sit around. The top 5 point guards sit in the bye. Then 10 players duke it out over 5 matches. Then those 5 advance, and they would play against the second round players. And the 5 players that lost can just sit by, and they play from a winner's bracket and a loser bracket. Make it super fun. That's why you want to do it over 3 days, like first day, second day, third day. You want a upper bracket and lower bracket. Upper bracket is winning, lower bracket winning. We see it like in Street Fighter. We see it in esports. They do a double bracket elimination, winner's bracket and lower bracket. And this is when you can really make it super fun. Introduce NBA fans in general to like the double bracket elimination. And that builds really cool storylines and narratives. You know what I mean? So then the winners advance in the winners bracket, and the 5 players drop down to the loser bracket. Then up here, the 5 players that lose here advance. The 5 players that win advance. The 5 players that lose drop down, and they play against the losers bracket against the other losers they just beat. Really building a super fun narrative where like all of a sudden, right, they get like a second shot at the dude they get a second shot at different players that they didn't play, right? So if you had 15 players in the point guards in the West, top 5 voted players in the fans in the bye, 10 players took it out, 5 point guards fall, 5 point guards advance. Crazy narratives and stuff could happen in the second round. You know, probably that day, you do this all this in one day. The winners that advance go on to day 2. So second round players in the first day go off to the second day. And then losers drop down, and they play that game that day too. So you have 2 loser kind of games, my bad. Like the players that are now 1-1 and 0-1 duke it out. And then those winners advance the second day, and then the losers, they fall out. Right? So then you have some more narratives where the folks that lost here and fell win and then get to bounce back up to play against. Maybe they might in a random draw, however you want to do it, or you can probably fix it up to where or change it to where they don't. You match against new opponents too. So then you still have this second day where it's really cool, right? And then these winners advance to like the 4th round, and then they fall down again. You know what I mean, to the lower bracket. And then you can kind of repeat that, you know, where like the next set of advanced players fall down, and there's less, of course. But it's just a really good way to kind of leapfrog to get to the 5th round, or everyone break it down, and then you finish it on the 3rd day. But yeah. And so you double bracket elimination, very classic. You know, the winners that win go up, the losers that fall get a second chance, and then they fall out. And if you're really cool narratives and stuff like that, you know, and then allows the winners to sit back and watch the losers and kind of study their opponent and stuff like that too. And the interviews and the narrative and the fans that show up, you do it with all the roles, you know. Or you could just do, if you really want to do, make it like super short. You just do like the top 4 players of each role, and then you do all this same home stadiums and all that, but like a bigger spectacle. But I think it'd be much more fun if you did it like this, you know, where you had, because then you have different kinds of Cinderella stories, and like everyone gets a shot. Every starter would feel like, damn, we're in the starting role, and then 40 games in the season, there's this 1v1 tournament, and I have to represent my team, and they got to be ready. You know what I mean? And then allows all the pros to intermingle and network and meet up, all the fan bases from different teams to meet up in different, you know, there's different cities. Like if it's center is Jokic, right, the forward is LeBron, then all the forwards going to LA, and all the fans are there to watch this 1v1 tournament over 3 days. And like January 15th, January 30th, like hypothetically as a concept, the NBA wants to pay me now, they can cast a check, or pay, you know, gas me a check in 2024, 2025 for this idea. That'll generate them millions of more views, grow the fandom, accolades for the pros and players, accolades for the organizations because they won't wear trophies and stuff like that, and for the players and the culture. Because then you could say, you know, the starting roles have really important positions, you know, and it allows some Cinderella moments, like Draymond Green, if he wants to be a starting center, would have to negotiate with Looney, like, hey, Looney, do you really want to, you know, does Draymond Green want to be the forward and battle out to the forward tree, to the forward one-way turn, or does Draymond Green want to be the center, like he should be a center, and battle out in the center role? Because I'm pretty sure Draymond Green would beat every single center. He'd steal the ball from Jokic and hold Jokic to 17, 18 points, and Draymond Green would score 30. Draymond Green, like he held Embiid to 14 points. Draymond Green would get to 30 points and hold Embiid to 14 points, just stuff like that. And then you really get to see how well your centers from your team or your forwards from your team, or how great Steph Curry is that he scores 30 points the fastest and like sets more records and probably ends up being like the Western Conference 1v1 tournament player. And you do the same thing again. Number one Steph Curry, probably Klay Thompson, probably another forward like Kevin Durant or something like that, and then LeBron James, and then like Draymond Green is like the center. And then it really cements and solidifies the culture of the Warriors. Let's say shooting guard, let's say Klay Thompson falls short, there'll probably be another shooting guard that might beat him, but this will really, push him, propel him as a player to take that title as number one shooting guard and stuff like that. And really propel Steph Curry to be the number one point guard and take this title, 1v1 champion. Then your starters, guess what, are now your starters for your All-Star game, weeks prior. Yeah, the number one players for each one earned their roles, earned their position. Huge some of the story narratives. How great are your superstars? This idea should have already been happening. Yeah. And then you have your 5 starters for the West and 5 stars in the East. It's the exact same thing. And then they duke it out in the tournament. So then you have the guards go at it. And it'd be really cool to see Steph Curry and Klay Thompson being the number one players each of respectively for each of their role, and shutting down any of the journalists with their trash talking, because they're going to do it on the court. The journalists will have to stop doing their trash talking and get back to understanding basketball. And then the forwards can go at it. So then let's say Steph Curry beats Klay Thompson, beats the number one in that position for both. It's not both the guards, it's just just advance in this single tree. You say the number ones from the West and ones from the East, probably like Giannis, Damian Lillard, Tatum, Butler, stuff like that. Maybe Trae Young, stuff like that pop out of the East. You know what I mean? And you might have like Jokic, LeBron, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry. And all of a sudden you would see like these starters, right? And you're like, damn, these players didn't earn their roles as the starters for each side. They'd be even more important as also a starter because they've like won a 1v1 tournament to get to this position. Even more prideful, you know what I mean? Because now the number one point guard Steph Curry will go against the earned spot of the number one point guard, or like LeBron James if he wins as number one forward. It goes against someone else's number forward, like Jokic if he wins in one of the tournaments. That's something. He's a center, should feel super proud and go against the other number one center of the team. Probably Giannis or something like that, right? Or Embiid or whoever, So. And then that All-Star appearance, where the second place guys and third place guys fills up the roster. So if you're second place in the 1v1 tournament or third place in the 1v1 tournament, then you get to go to the All-Star game. The fans can vote. The players they get to have those accolades and moments where it's like, these are your representatives. The fans had voted for. People are like, how does this make any sense? Because if Steph Curry has all the fans voting for him to be the home court point guard advantage, then that'd be awesome. You see what I'm saying? And then if the fans vote, they still get the power to vote. They probably all vote for Jokic to be like, he's the best center. Then the center gets the home court advantage. So you get to beat like the king, the crown, the person at the top, the president. You get to beat them. So like same thing as Steph Curry could be Chase Center, host all the point guards. 15 point guards will show up, do it over 3 days. Home court advantage Steph Curry. And so same thing with like shooting guard. If all the people vote for another shooting guard, so be it. It might be Phoenix Suns and shooting guard Devin Booker or something like that. But I don't know how big his popularity is, So I don't know if it would be. Could be the Kings might vote in. I guess De'Aaron Fox is the point guard. Yeah, he might lose the point guard vote to like Stephen Curry or something like that. But I figure Malik Monk. I don't know how his popularity is, but it'd be neck and neck with like Klay Thompson. But I imagine Klay Thompson, because of popularity, might they might give him like the hypothetical NBA concept that I'm thinking of. This would be an awesome tournament. Fans might vote Klay Thompson's number one shooting guard, and then all of a sudden Chase Center has both the tournaments. It might be Phoenix with Devin Booker in terms of voting, popularity, and fandom. Just from like thinking, you know what I mean? Because of Booker being like the face of the Suns and all that. And Kevin Durant's there. But Kevin Durant's number 2. Booker's like it's his teams, his leads, his people, his city. He's been there longer. He's done more. And so Devin Booker might be Phoenix. And all of a sudden, all the shooting guards gone into Phoenix, and it's a cool city, fun city, adult city, tornado city. There's tons of stuff, Phoenix, Arizona, and all that. So the same thing for Denver. All the fans, different NBA teams can go to Denver. Jokic home court advantage, 1v1 center tournament over 3 days. Super fun event. All the NBA fans come together, network, mingle. All the NBA pros can come together. All the NBA families come together. It'd be a real like basketball event. You know what I mean, for the fans. Ball is life. You know what I mean. So, it'd be brilliant. It's actually brilliant. And you can do this between January 15th and January 30th because it's already like a kind of a 12 period where not much is going on for the NBA, and NBA wants to fill up time and whatever. You know, and so and people are like, how can this happen? Because there's plenty of days during the week where the stadium is used for practice for like 3 hours or 6 hours out of the day. Sometimes it's 3 hours in the morning or 3 hours in the evening, or they leave the hours, or like most NBA stadiums will keep throughout the week 3 hours or 6 hours where the players go to the stadium and they practice. Not just at their practice courts or practice facilities, which are different. Sometimes they will practice in the NBA arena or stadium. And there's plenty of days when NBA games aren't going on. Most stadiums are like concerts or events, or they're doing weddings, or doing seminars, or doing promotions or ceremonies. So a lot of times the stadium's not used. Most NBA stadiums are now renting out their space to, like, when they have a class of doctors graduating in a city, they'll pick like an NBA stadium to celebrate all the families. Or if there's a graduating class for another university or college, and say it's storming, they might use the size of an NBA stadium to do the celebration, stuff like that. So you see that. And there's concerts, of course, when NBA games aren't being played. There's plenty of like off days and time that NBA arenas aren't being used. And guess what? NFL owners will love this, because then they get more events that are NBA centric, that draws in fans with money. And they can really, I know it sounds kind of messed up, they can really make it either affordable or expensive, like depending on what they want to do. You know what I mean? And it's 1v1 tournament, and you can really determine I would call it the NBA MS MVP, NBA midseason MVP. And your all-stars would earn their roles in their starting positions, and they get more accolades that they can be proud of. Being like, yo, I won the 1v1 tournament as a forward or center, and now I get to represent my Western team or Eastern team, stuff like that. And they get to add that to the accolades for the franchise, add that to a notch on the belt, or just to the check mark, or put this extra trophy they're going to win in their trophy case. I love that. NBA players love that. Love that. And really it also allows defensive players who are starters, like Draymond Green, to like show you why he's elite one-on-one as a defender. He's giving up like 0 points. Like if Draymond Green's doing a 1v1 tournament, he just like shuts down his opponent. They only get 10 points. He scores 30. You'll see the elite play of Draymond Green, like how he held Embiid to 14 points. You see what I'm saying? Or he stopped Jokic. He's held him to like 16, 17, 18 points before. Because Draymond Green at the 5 of the center can steal the ball and block anybody and interrupt their shooting, make it hard for them to shoot. It's actually really hard to shoot against Draymond Green, because he's played games where he's given up 0 points. He's played games where he's only given up 2 points total game. He's played games where he's only given up 4 total points. He's played games where he's given up 8 total points. Or 5 total points. That's how elite he is on defense. And you'll see that too from Giannis. Giannis will probably score in this hypothetical 1v1 concert tournament. The reason I would call it after Steph Curry is Steph Curry is probably going to like not only win the midseason MVP, it'll really light a fire underneath him to like propel him to like do more, be great. He'll probably set like records for like scoring 30 points the fastest, because it should be 30 points, 30 for 30, 30 for Curry. He'll score 30 points so quick in under 5 minutes that sets him apart. Like Trae Young, Damian Lillard probably did the same thing too. It'd be super fun. And Steph Curry would probably win this award, and then it builds more narratives. Who's going to win the MVP the rest of the season? Will it be the midseason? It would be the NBA MS MVP, from their title. Can Steph Curry carry it forward? Because it's earned on the court. And what you could do, what you could really do to make this even more encapsulating, is have it where the top 3 players that earned the 1, 2, and 3 position during this tournament, that has everybody. So let's say the NBA MS MVP to really encapsulate, make it perfect. The 15 point guards, 15 centers, 15 forwards, all that. And they do one return, just have the 1, 2, and 3 have 15 players, the all-star players essentially. Because you're going to have your all-star representative. You have your 15 players in the West, 15 players in the East. First, second, and third for each role. 15 players, 15 players. Before the start in the NBA playoff, crown the MVP with this tournament. And these players get a second shot. But now, instead of 15 for each one, it's just 15, 15. And now it's, check this out. The number 2, number 3, let's say it's like point guard position. Let's say it's Stephen Curry, De'Aaron Fox. Here the other person is. De'Aaron Fox is going to beat him. De'Aaron Fox beats the 3rd player. And then it ends up being Steph Curry and De'Aaron Fox to be the winner of the number 1 point guard after the end of the season. He gets a second shot to like study your opponent 20 games in halfway through the season, 83 games, end of the season, before the NBA player kicks off. Have it 7 days, maybe 14 days, right? 14 days or 7 days before the NBA playoffs start, and you have this tournament, and then they duke it out. And it's already kind of formatted. So then you really crown the MVP, or let's say there's an upset, and there's a huge narrative before the playoffs. It builds more juicy narratives and anticipation, and let's say De'Aaron Fox then beats Stephen Curry, and he's the first split and second split. So the first split would be like Stephen Curry, number one point guard, or like De'Aaron Fox or something like that, right? And let's say in the second split, if Stephen Curry beats De'Aaron Fox to take the crown, or the number one point guard right before the NBA playoffs start, or like maybe Steph Curry wins both the splits. Steph Curry is split 1, split 2, point guard. You've solidified your position. You defended your title. How do you feel? And then you really get to see a second shot of the 1, 2, and 3s duking out. 15 players, east and west. Each roll, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. They duke it out one more time right before the NBA playoffs. At the end of the season, right after the NBA playoffs, duke it out. And the winner of that tournament, Steph Curry versus Giannis, whatever it's going to be. Giannis or Tatum, Giannis, or Trae Young, or Jimmy Butler, or something like that, or Damian Lillard from the East. And like at the West, probably like Stephen Curry, Stephen Curry, Stephen Curry, Stephen Curry. Because no one's beating Stephen Curry 1-on-1. And no one probably beat Stephen Curry 1-on-1. Maybe De'Aaron Fox. Not Booker. Not Durant. Not LeBron. Not Anthony Davis. Not Jokic. Because Steph Curry's going to score 3 points so quickly that he'll just hit 9 points, hit 3 threes in a row, and then Jokic is like getting 4 points trying to dunk. Steph Curry, it's 3 more threes, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. Gets 18 points, and then Jokic is at like 10 points. Because Jokic scored 5 times. So Steph Curry's like, hey bro, you can shoot your 2, and then I'm just going to 3-point shot. He's going to hit 10 threes in a row, hit 30 points, and like set the record. And be doing that for the whole tournament. And if he really wants to do some showmanship, he's faster than a center or forward. He's faster than Jokic, he's faster than LeBron, he's faster than Anthony Davis. So he's going to get a shot off, or a layup, before they do anything. And LeBron wants to dunk twice and get 4 points, so Steph Curry can just make 2 3-point shots and get 6 points. Steph Curry can make 3 3-point shots and get 9 points. And then LeBron James is like, I'm just going to go for my layup, my dunk. You see what I'm saying? LeBron gets 5 dunks, gets to 10 points, and then Steph Curry hits 5 threes in a row, and he's at 15. He hits 6 threes in a row, he's at 18 points. LeBron's at 12. LeBron's like, I'm going to make 2-point shots. I'm going to do it 6 times to get 12 points. Steph Curry's, I'll make 6 3-point shots and get to 18. So that hypothetically, LeBron James, or Steph Curry probably like 32 points. If you want to keep track, right? Probably like 30, I'm going to 10 threes in a row, my apologies. But there could be some 2 points in there too. He might just hit 10 threes in a row, get to 30, and LeBron's at like 24 points. Because LeBron's like, let me get 12 dunks, 2 points each. So it's 24 points. Steph Curry gets 30. It's just like, and Steph Curry would like rip into the West. Probably then Steph Curry then win both the first split and second split, and then the midseason MVP, get where I'm going, and then the final season MVP, the regular season, NBA final season MVP tournament. The pageantry, the awards, the accolade. How you really make it awesome is like to hit the home court advantage, because then like the Warriors would love that. It'd be super fun. Yeah. And then you have your MVP, two splits, mid-season 1v1 tournament that crowns you the NBA mid-season MVP. Hypothetical concept. NBA, they can cash a check this year, next year, whenever they use my idea. And at the end of the season's done, 83 games, after 80 games. And keep it the same requirement. You can keep it 2 different kind of requirements too. Or there could be replacements too. You might need to build policy where there's replacements in case there's an injury. Just at the end of the season, if it's 1, 2, and 3, right, and there's 15 players from the West, 15 players from the East to do the final kind of MVP thing. If there's an injury, just have the team. Actually, I don't know how you would. Well, you did it later on. Yeah, you did it later on. You have to write that up as you're building the system, in terms of putting some policies in place, writing the procedure in place to say if there was an injured player, oh, perfect. Just, and it's going to sound kind of weird, just the tournament kind of fixes everything. You see what I'm saying? If you have 15 starters from each, or if you took the top 4 players from each role, then you have 20 and 20, then that really should help any kind of injury woes. And if anything, if you did it properly, the NBA midseason, 1v1 tournament, this idea, this concept that I've created, then you could really do, then you would already have the depth charts. You know what I mean? You already have 15 players for each role. So no matter what, even if there is injuries, you always have like a replacement based on the fan vote. See what I'm saying? So, because Steph Curry to win the votes to be number 1 point guard, probably De'Aaron Fox to be like number 2. You see what I'm saying? So the fans have already voted for the replacements, all the way 15 deep for each role. So if there are injuries that occur, it's the next person in line of that role would move up, if injuries did occur. So then at the end of the season, if it's 15 versus 15, but it's really the top 3 for each role, and they duke it out to find the MVP, then it'd be super hype. Incredible pageantry, celebration, accolades, and all that. Notoriety, journalism, fans going crazy. And then you have your NBA player earning the MVP on a 1v1 tournament. It should have already been occurring. The NBA should have already been doing it. MVP would have earned their spot on the court in a 1v1 tournament right at the end of the regular season, before the NBA playoffs. And then now you have all these accolades and narratives and stories like if De'Aaron Fox loses in the Western Conference 1v1 tournament against Stephen Curry, then man, that'll fuel his fire, propel him forward to really play. Let's say Jokic loses to Anthony Davis or loses to Draymond Green, or Looney beats him, or other forwards beat LeBron James, and all those narratives will play out in the NBA playoffs next. You see what I'm saying? And then you have your MVP, you have your second place, third place positions for each role in the 1v1 tournament, and then when they go into the NBA playoffs, there's all these narratives. And then as the years go on and you continue to use this, it'd be even huger pageantry. Like you're playing against De'Aaron Fox, who has one or two NBA point guard, and he's crowned the best point guard for like so many splits. He'd be like 3 splits or 4 splits. He's crowned number 1 point guard with Steph Curry. Let's say the future has like 5 or 6 NBA splits, like twice in a year, sometimes one in a year, where he's number 1 point guard. Like Klay Thompson, as a shooting guard, might win, 1 or 2 splits where he's the best shooting guard and stuff like that in the tournament. And LeBron James would love this. Anthony Davis would love it. And Jokic would love it. Jokic has won. Let's see, Jokic won 6 center. Number 1 center. Jokic wins the 1v1 tournament for center like 6 times in a row. 2 splits in each year over 3 years. Let's say he loses it, then it builds rivalry, and it builds rivalry in the East and the West, and it builds this cool camaraderie and rivalry and narrative. Makes the NBA super fun. It should have already been occurring. This idea that I have should have already happened. And that would be super fun. Super fun. I need to be folding this laundry right now. But yeah. Stuff like that.
And I was with my family.
Turn this on.
And it was late. I feel like it was super late in Terrace when the draft came on. And we went to dinner.
Is this readable?
We came back home. And I knew the draft was going to be on late. But, I ended up laying down. We started watching the coverage. Mm-hmm. And, my dad, my mom, my brother, I feel like it was 5 or 6 people was in, the living room of the place we were staying. And it was, the coverage was on. I was like, all right, the draft not going to start for a while. So I kind of went to the other room and I laid down and dozed off a little bit. And I woke up and I saw that the number 1 pick had happened. So it was Wemby. So I'm like, okay, it's coming up. So I kind of sat there and watched Charlotte pick, and then when we picked, I was like, it was once we made the pick, it was what I expected. But that wasn't a deal breaker for me, because anything can happen. You just never know what plans could be. And that was was it. I was like, okay, I see what direction this could go, but I'm not going to jump to conclusions, like I saw what direction it could go, and I'm not a fool, so I let it play out. I kind of stepped away from it for a few days, and that was that.
Milwaukee very quickly, I can see, became the right fit for you. But it wasn't initially, right, on your list of places that you wanted to go. Is that right?
Not initially.
When did it become that place, or did it take you getting there and seeing?
It was actually maybe a couple weeks before I even got traded. My agent actually asked me, like, what you think about Milwaukee? And I was like, basketball-wise, that's probably the absolute best fit and situation for me, but how does that even work? That was my question to him. And he was like, if it was a option, how would you feel about it? And I was like, well, if I had to pick a player, to play with that I think I could complement well in the league and just one player, I would pick Giannis. And he was like, all right. So that conversation was a couple weeks before I got traded, but it was like we didn't talk about it again. So I literally opened my phone up one day, the day that I got traded, I opened my phone up and I clicked on Instagram and I follow a boxing page because I'm a big boxing fan called Champside. And Champside was the first post on my screen, and it had a picture of me and Giannis, and it was like, but I thought it was just speculation, like people thinking, oh, I could end up here or whatever, and like literally, I kid you not, maybe 10 seconds as I was looking at it and kind of reading the caption and I clicked on the comments, I got a call from my agent, and he was like, they traded you to Milwaukee. And I was like, you serious? Because he play a lot, he always joking. I'm like, you serious? He like, yeah, I'm going to call you back. So we didn't even really have a full conversation. He was like, I got to call them back. I just wanted to tell you. So I'm like, we kind of got off the phone, and then I started getting text messages, from a bunch of people. The Blazers ended up, I had a text, they was like, we're trying to reach you. So I figured it was about me getting traded. So that was it.
It's been an eventful week in Milwaukee. Doc Rivers, now the head coach. And Doc said in his introductory press conference, Doc, he's always he's very, very honest. He said that I wouldn't necessarily wish this on anybody.
Yeah.
And he's talking about that in terms of the pressure cooker of coming in mid-season to a team that already is like, if you didn't at least go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
I understood exactly what he meant, and he was right.
What do you mean?
Like, you wouldn't wish this on anybody, Like, it takes the right type of person to step into a situation with these type of expectations. You coming in halfway through, so you won't really get an opportunity to have your own staff. You won't have the opportunity to kind of have the foundation that you probably typically would as a head coach because we've already established a lot of things. So you got to come in and try to tweak what you can tweak, change what you feel like needs to be changed, but you're kind of stepping on, work that's already been done. So it's even more of a challenge because of it. So I see exactly, what he meant.
But you're kind of doing that, not mid-season, but you're stepping into, in a large sense, work that has already been done. What have you expected that comes with the pressures of this is a team that is built to win, and what's something that maybe you didn't see coming?
I think everything that's happened I saw coming. I thought the transition would be a little bit more smooth.
Why?
Toyota's President's Day sales event is on. Get to your Toyota dealer now for low 3.99% APR on Tacoma or $750 cash back on Tundra. Take me out! Hurry in now to get the best deals of the year. Toyota, let's go places.
Just because I know I complement how I play complements the team really well. Especially playing alongside Giannis. Like how he plays, I know it complements him well. But I think it's just been an adjustment. He's used to playing a certain way. I'm used to playing a certain way. Everybody else is used to playing a certain way. And now you're putting a different kind of player in there. And we all playing for a first-time coach. He's putting in a new system. He's a new coach for them, a new coach for me, a new player. It's just a lot of moving parts. So when you consider all of those things, it's just a little bit more difficult than you would expect because you got to go out there and handle all of these things, but you also target it. So it's not like you're going to just ease into it and, just kind of flow your way through it. It's like teams coming after you and you're trying to figure it out. You're having some struggles, trying to figure a lot of things out. But fortunately for us, we've been able to win through it and learn and continue to figure it out.
Yeah, that's one of the wild things about you guys, the discourse around a team that is still second in the Eastern Conference. Yeah. But I think that comes from expectations. I think that comes from actually, in a roundabout way, wanting to see you guys be the best that you can be.
I agree with that.
The adage is that defense wins championships. Yeah. The Milwaukee Bucks, even historically, when they won in 2021, their defense is what they hung their hat on. Your career, you have been known as an offensive player. What do you need to do to add to the Bucks' improvements defensively?
You just got to be committed to doing it. You know, I don't think in the league today we got the most talented players probably ever, you know, at this point, scoring the ball. You see the numbers across the league. People scoring 70, people scoring 60. It's a normal night in the NBA to have 140 to 135 games, you know. So when you look at it, you know, the numbers or the ratings, you could be 15th or you could be 21st or 22nd. And the difference in that is not a lot because everybody's scoring a lot of points. We just got to be more consistent. I think we have to put a little bit more into the defensive end. You know, I think we've had a lot of, you know, miscommunications and confusion throughout games sometimes when we change coverages and things that are just new. Our personnel, you know, is kind of new. So I don't think it's that we can't do it. It's that we haven't been consistent at it. And for me, being somebody that's been in the league for as long as I have, I understand that I don't have to be Drew Holiday, you know, as a defender. He's the best of the best at doing that. You know, that's what he brings to the team, along with other things, but that's what he does. But I know that I don't have to be that defensively to be better, you know, and to be a part of a good defensive team. So I think it's a lot of things that we could do better. And the beauty of it is that we're all committed to doing those things better. And like I said before, we've been able to win and find a way to get it done while we've learned and kind of grown through these things. And hopefully now we can, you know, continue to push in that direction of being a better defensive team as the season kind of finishes. And then when the time is right, we'll be hitting our stride and doing the things that we need to. But I honestly think that it's a great thing for our team that we haven't been the best version of ourselves, but we've been able to find a way. I think that says a lot about who we are. And I think because of how committed we are to getting better on the defensive end and getting better as a team, you know, it makes it exciting for what it could become, you know, down the stretch of the season and when we get into the playoffs.
Do you take those matchups with Drew Holiday personally?
I don't. It wasn't like, you know, I was traded here. I didn't, you know, I ain't pulled the trigger. I didn't make no decisions.
Yeah.
And Drew was in a great situation. I think the only thing personal is that, you know, we're both in the Eastern Conference and, you know, both teams can't make it. So I wouldn't say it's personal from me to him, but, you know, I think any other team that is competing for what we're competing for, especially on the same side as us, you know, we have to, you know, take it as some type of challenge.
Let's end here. How close or how far do you feel that this team is from winning a championship? You came here to win, and you've had these ups and downs as a team, but you're still second in the Eastern Conference. You see Boston as this powerhouse, but you have yourself, you have Chris, you have Giannis, the two-time MVP, the Finals MVP. So swirl all that into equation. Do you still feel like you have the right chance?
I definitely think we're a championship team. You know, there's no denying it. Nobody has ever won a championship in January, February, or March. And I think in the history of the league, we've seen a lot of teams, you know, I've been on teams that won 14 games, 15 games. Like, we go on streaks and, you know, we just look like, man, they're going to be tough to beat. And, you know, things happen. You have injuries. Sometimes the team just, you know, experiences some adversity and things change. It's a long season. You know, you can be the worst version of yourself for a couple months and then be the best and then end up being there in the end, or you can be the best and then kind of fall off and kind of struggle. You see it in sports all the time. You know, this year the Eagles look unstoppable, and then you know down the stretch of the season, that's just how it happens sometimes in professional sports, especially over a long season. You just never know. So I think for us, I keep saying like the beauty in it for us is that we find a way to win games. You know, I think you're gonna always have criticism. You're gonna always have people nitpicking, um, but we find a way to win. We haven't been the best version of ourselves yet, and you know we are committed to becoming that. And I think as long as we stay that way, you know the people that are in the mix, that's the team, the coaches, you know our training staff. That's who matters. You know you can't become too distracted by everything on the outside because that's you guys' job and that's the media's job is to talk about what they see. And at times we should be criticized. You know when we don't defend well enough and we don't play well enough or we have a bad loss or whatever, like that's part of the game, you know, and we accept that part of it too. But as long as we stay focused on, you know, addressing those things that we don't do well and knowing that it's not about us being perfect or our best right now, but we got to eventually get to that, I think we'll be all right.
You came to Milwaukee to win a championship.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say. You know, it's when I was in Portland, it was Dame is doing all this, you know, Dame scoring 60 and all this stuff, but they need to win and all of this stuff, you know. And I do feel like I could play a lot better, you know, and I know that I will play a lot better, but it's not gonna look the same, you know. We winning a lot of games, and I think it's just a different situation, and I'm committed to growing and being a part of a team that got a chance to win it all, and I think that's the process that we're in.
Thank you, Dave.
Search for something you love. Etsy has it.
If Mara steps in my room, she gotta recognize. It's wet. Oh, it's too wet. Too much rain. It's too wet. Too much rain. Too wet for the wicket. There you go. Makes it easier for me. It's storming outside. Cool. Let me share this video. Christmas is really good.
Now into February, they'd be...
Doing good. Oh, what the heck? How did it not do this thing? Of course, we're gonna.
8-0. He 20 tonight. Curry another three. He's got 60. 10-second game clock, shot clock. That's the difference. 7 to shoot. Steph splits the double team. Curry on a runner. Go!
This is why I said Curry won the 1v1 tournament. He has an unblockable floater. It was 121-21 with 14 seconds left. The Warriors defense should have ended this game.
Floater.
This is a game-winning shot.
DeJounte Murray's had a tough time on Steph the whole night, but it's not just him. Anybody can get it with Steph.
But Klay Thompson should be doing this, not Podominski.
That's a great decision there. Now it's just about getting a stop. Altered that one. Steph is 3 for 12.
Look at that, man. Disrespect that Steph Curry's getting hit with firing a three-point shot. He probably knows better. Throw his body into Steph Curry.
He could not help himself.
What is he doing? Like, why is this defender leaping into the air, attacking Steph Curry's position?
It's Steph Curry, greatest shooter that's ever lived. You're selling out, doing all you can.
Like, why are you running and jumping into Steph Curry's shooting position?
To bother him at least. And you could tell as soon as he contested, like, oh no, I'm going too fast. I'm going to knock him over.
Yeah, but no, the disrespect is he had no business. The player should have been kicked out of the game. I'll explain really simply.
Never lived, you're selling out.
This player should have been kicked out of the game because they're. Do you see that? Steph Curry already made the shot, but throwing your body into the air as a weapon to hit the number 1 point guard in the league should have had him ejected. You're already beat. You're throwing your body at Steph Curry.
3 for 12. He's fouled. He could not help himself. It's Steph Curry, greatest shooter that's ever lived. You're selling out.
Look,
doing all.
Number 1 point guard right now. Alive. Living legend, number 1 point guard. Because Nice Johnson isn't playing.
All you can to bother him at least. And you can tell.
Oh, she's like right in the middle of my bed. This cat, bro. She's so funny. Oh, she's a funny cat. I turn around, she's.
Tell as soon as he contested, like, oh no, I'm going too fast. I'm going to knock him over. So Steph has 29. He's 4 of 13 on threes. And Steph flipped.
My hearing is so good. I usually keep like the volume down like super low because my hearing is so good. And to everyone else, they can like barely hear it, but like to me, it's like loud and clear. So sometimes I do like a half headset, or I kind of cant it because it just. I have incredible hearing, so everything has to be lowered.
It up and in, and he draws the foul.
You know what I should do? I'm gonna keep it low.
Capella got the deflection, and then Wiggins hanging in there. Capella playing volleyball, but the Warriors stand tall. Stephon Matthews will take the bump, flip it in, draw the foul.
So my laptop had it 50% volume.
Steph was trying to cave it in. Watch him just get into his
body.
Bodied him. And there's more than enough space to finish after that one. And all Matthews could do was swipe down, try to stop it. Andrew Wiggins has been amazing defensively. He moved his feet there again. He just couldn't get the defensive rebound. Jemski an open
yeah, that'll do.
It'll work because then anybody wants to
increase the volume to like 30 or more and 75 or more.
Ran out of real estate, then relocated. Sidestep three. Come on! Oh, he's got the building buzzing with that.
He said it's the 50%. So it's back to 50%.
4 minutes left.
And if I'm talking more right into the mic, if I was sitting in this position, then yeah, then it should be much more clear. Right?
Come on now. 45 torch has 47 in the game. Curry off the handoff, step back three, good! A 50 ball!
He's not the Human Torch. Steph and Bayface Assassin Curry, or the chef himself. He's always cooking.
Steph another three. Why not? He's got 57. His career high is 62.
Overtime should never happen. Steph Curry had the game-winning shot, and
Draymond finding Steph. He's got 54. How hot is Steph Curry? All the way down the lane to lay it up and in.
Everybody thinks he's going to shoot a three. He can do that too.
Interesting though. Clay layup, Steph layup. DeJounte Murray rimming it out.
And Podziemski contested down from behind. He just kept working.
Chance to tie midway through the fourth or take the lead. Curry with a three.
His head on the rim.
Steph in amongst the trees to lay it up and in.
Took the bump. Let him roll.
Steph driving. Steph finishing. He's got 34. Okay. Win Snyder's like, I better slow this Curry guy down. Donovich is tracking Curry. Steph. It might be one of those nights.
He's got him. Right now, the 9-point advantage, points off turnovers for the Hawks is kind of the biggest difference in the game. So make sure you take care of it.
Put size on Steph with Jalen Johnson. He just goes to the other side and turns and hits a jumper.
See that subtle little pump fake?
They're rebounding and putting him back up and in. It is the total size of Okongwu and Capella. It's the reason Atlanta having the lead, but Steph Curry, the Energizer Bunny's still working. He's got 26. The Warriors can play a lot better, and yet they're in a one-point game on the road. For a team that's won 3 in a row and just beat Phoenix, and now Steph Curry hits the three. There can be contact, but as long as the rim's not vibrating or something to cause the ball to ricochet out. Steph from the baseline. So Steph Curry is rolling early, 3 of 5.
I went to bed with a younger man because of my husband's speed. This simple mix of ingredients is capable of making his members stay hard for longer and up to 10 centimeters bigger. And you know what's better? According to the testimonials we've received from over 12,000 men, it works even better if you're over 40 years old. It works regardless of your age, medical condition, or the severity of the problem. It only takes 5 minutes to do. Any man can do it today.
Oh, I was going to post some NBA stuff. Oh. Oh yeah, I was gonna post.
Steph, obviously got the results in which you wanted tonight, but still had a moment to make NBA history. You tied Kobe Bryant as the second player to score 60 points over the age of 35. I don't want to date you or anything like that. Second game of a back-to-back. What type of zone were you in tonight? Trying to get your team this victory and having such a phenomenal performance.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. That was his last game?
Yep.
That's special. Granted, we lost. It's just one of those things you kind of feel as you go, knowing we're on a back-to-back, coming in late, trying to do whatever you can to keep our team in it, just make shots, take what the defense gives you, force the issue if you feel it. I think in that fourth quarter, we were very decisive on just trying to get me, good looks, creating some confusion. Thankfully, a bunch of them went in. I wish that last one would have went down and had a good look at it. But
Bro, why am I?
it's frustrating, obviously, not coming away with the win, knowing a couple plays here, a couple plays there. It's a different outcome, and we're celebrating the individual performance like that, but just adds to the frustration of our season.
Steph, you had another 20-point quarter. That's up to 45 now, the most in NBA history. How do you determine when to just take over and then when to facilitate?
There's a kind of a subconscious feel of the game, knowing you can be more aggressive to get to your spots, and you might not see as much resistance, and it's just a matter if you make or miss. The rest of it's just feeling the flow of the game, and I think at a certain point, when you hit a couple and you get good looks at the rim, you're gonna kind of come back to those with the mindset of being aggressive to score. And there are certain games, we didn't have much going. Lester played well, shot the ball well, but from three, we were struggling a little bit as a team. So there is a certain point when you see the score, see the fourth quarter, let's go.
Steph, 2 questions. What does it mean to you when you come out on an opposing field and see fans start to turn and actually cheer for you as you do what you do? And second of all, how has your faith in the Lord Jesus Christ helped you as you navigate through a tremendous career, being a dad, being a parent, and also now moving into PGA golf as well?
My faith, it guides me in everything. It's not really a result on what happens on the court. I'm just blessed to have this stage to shine a light and hopefully be some type of inspiration to anybody that watches me, knowing I've been given some amazing gifts and trying to use them to the best of my ability, whatever I do. And then to your point about being in an opposing arena and having the turnout that we do and the support, it's easy to find energy, with that type of response, and I never take any of that for granted, knowing, the ball will stop bouncing at some point, and this is definitely special, something that, the ultimate gratitude every time I get to step foot on the floor.
Does it feel like it was wasted tonight, what you did, in some ways? Is that too strong a way to put it?
Or? You can describe it however you want. Any game that you have, even way back when I first had 54 in the Garden, we lost. That's the only feeling that you really worry about. Obviously, it's a fun ride when you're shooting the ball the way that you are and trying to get to the finish line. And like I said, have a W to show for it. If that last runner goes in, it's a different story. But
I'm laughing at myself.
It sucks to not have something to show for it, especially the way we all fought, given everything we had in the tank. With the back-to-back and everything that we went through.
Bigger picture, where are you at right now with where you guys are?
It's tough because you look out. We've had so many guys out. It's kind of a revolving door. Wiggs goes out at halftime. J.K. fouls out in the fourth quarter. I think at one point it's really cool to see a different look. I was out there with Trace, Lester, Gee, and Brandon Bajemski. Like, if those guys are taking steps and building confidence. I'm pretty sure if anybody asked, would you be out there with those 4 guys at some point in the regular season, you probably would have said no. But we still had a chance to win. Like, that's the challenge of this year. It was an entirely different 5-man unit that we'd never seen, all season. So you're trying to adapt and allow that youthful energy to help us, try to get over the hump. So it's been the nature of our season all year. What it was supposed to look like hasn't really materialized for consistent stretches. But, again, you can only be in the present. That's the challenge that we have to make this season salvageable. We're still 4 games under 500. I'm still motivated. Just got to, stick with it.
You had the quote a couple weeks ago, kind of the insanity quote that was taken as kind of, you may be indicating you think a trade may need to happen. I mean, it's deadline's, nearing at this point. Do you think something?
I mean, the rest of that quote was, it's up to us as players to perform, play at the level that we're supposed to, so that those conversations and decisions may be a little easier. And obviously, I'm not a GM. I'm not in that position where I'm getting asked that every single day. My job is to go out there and perform. The closer you get to it, it's the nature of the NBA. You can't be naive and act like, calls aren't being made wherever it is. But for us as players in the locker room, you have to be able to control what you can control. And until it's, said otherwise or decisions are made, like, it's up to us to go out and perform and hold our ground as a team that's, a legitimate team that can win. And if you're not, then you approach things differently when the opportunity presents itself.
Steph, you got an opportunity to work out with Trey over the summer, and just what are your thoughts on what you've seen him as a player grow? And of course, the city of Atlanta, they say that he's been snubbed as an all-star. Just your thoughts on his growth and him being left off the all-star team.
He's continued to get better, perform his numbers. The all-star there's a lot that goes into it, from the votes, from fans, media, coaches. It's a competitive element, at each position, trying to, be selected every year. I told him after the game, it'll all come back to him if he continues to approach the game the right way, play with joy, don't let it build any type of resentment because he's not acknowledged. I'm sure there's a couple injuries on the East, and it might not be the way that he wanted to get in, but he'll be there in Indiana, being represented. And like I said, if you continue to approach the game the right way, if you continue to work at your craft, you continue to do what he's doing, it'll come back to him. My first year, or the year before I first made it, you get that snub tag. It's kind of like a chip on your shoulder, and it's a motivator. He can use it, that energy, but I'm sure he'll be there.
Circling back to Lester for a second, how have you seen his game mature recently?
He's getting an opportunity to play. And you saw tonight, he plays with ultimate confidence. He can shoot the hell out of the ball. He's taking defensive assignments and, that one-on-one matchup serious and trying to impact the game that way, using his energy in the right direction. He played amazing tonight. He played amazing yesterday. Taking what's there for him and just playing with ultimate confidence, however many minutes he's out there, whatever he's asked to do. So it's great to see guys rewarded for their patience and their hard work behind the scenes that nobody really gets to see.
Great, thank you. This is a metabolism killer. This is a metabolism killer.
I do want to watch that, but I also just need to cut up this video. Oh, okay. Yeah, what is his name? all this stuff. I gotta cut. I'm in.
Trust. Go. Make sure that you specify so I know what's. What Kevin?
Donald Trump is elected again, you really don't have to worry because the institutions of our government will prevent, the worst that he will attempt to do. That nothing could be further from the truth because those Republicans, how.
Much more detailed breakdown on the pick in our opening builds video for this match, so watch out for that. A few of the best top lane bands for the current meta include Jax, Fiora, and Malphite. Trundle, Nasus, and Garen are
like having my hair cut short. And I started my own indie studio called Pirate Software. Now I make games on the internet, and this is what I've done full-time for the last 5 years. I just make games, and I build stuff on Twitch, and that's it. That's all I've been doing. So, one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about this other thing that I do, because you're an indie dev. No one is shouting from the top of the mountain for you. You're not AAA. You don't have piles of money. You don't have infinite cash. Different types of games that they've made.
Oh. Now what is the full length? Can I control Z that? This is like 1 hour and 36 minutes, so just leave it at that. Oh my goodness. Because the game's gonna.
Flash actually. No joke even. So like, I don't know, isn't it fine if your audience is saying like you okay. Really
Oh. So I got food. Oh. Hey, food. Oh, before I finish this, I need to set this to. Oh. But I'll know because it's December. But just kind of, I just have to keep that kind of. Is this the current broadcast? Hold on. Oh, this is the current broadcast. I should cut this up now and stream.